So you all are living in the house together?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you sleeping with both of them while you live in the house with both of them, Ms. Hilburn?
Yes, I was.
I'm not trying to give anyone tips, but how did you pull that off?
He would go to work. As soon as he left, me and the other guy would have sex.
Wow.
Well, I came out the car. I seen somebody jump out the window, and I'm knocking on the door for like 30 minutes.
And so wait, were you there when the guy jumped out the window?
I'm looking at him run through the field.
And it took her at least 30 minutes to open up the door.
The day he came to the house, he has a habit of losing his key.
Miss Bryson says her ex, Mr. McCarroll, is the dad, even though she was with other guys. He denies it and wants the kid's last name changed.
Ms. Bryson, you have dragged the defendant, your ex-boyfriend, Mr. McCarroll, into court today because although you admit to having sex with more than one man, you are here with proof that Mr. McCarroll is the father of your 18-month-old son, Zylan McCarroll.
Miss Bryson says if Mr. McCarroll doesn't answer his phone, he's cheating. He says she's making stuff up, but she swears she knows his habits. The judge watches as they argue like it's a soap opera.
Every time we're together, he cheats. I wanted us to get married, and he doesn't want to do that because he wants to be a whore.
I tried to structure everything about my life to make it where we would never have to be here in this situation, where she would never have to be here and have question marks over these kids' heads.
Everywhere he goes, he meets someone.
She claims she couldn't even read a book without him freaking out. He says she's just paranoid, but she heard him talking to another woman. This fight is getting worse by the second.
I can't talk to my mother on the phone. I can't read a book without getting put out, cursed out.
I was supposed to bring his lunch in for him. I called him, he didn't answer, and I know him. Anytime he don't answer the phone, it's a woman involved. And sure enough, it was. His friend, his best friend still to this day, they cheat together. They do everything together, okay?
You can't even read a book.
Yes, no, ma'am.
She was dating someone else when she got pregnant, but Mr. McCarroll wouldn't leave her alone. She says she still loved him and believes he's the dad, but timelines don't lie, and things are about to get weird.
When I had gotten pregnant, we were separated. He was with another lady. Every time he comes over, he don't know how to keep his hands to himself. Even if I'm in a relationship, he still does it. As soon as my friend turns his back, he touching on. And I tell him, don't do that. But while I'm separated, I do love him with all my heart. Everything in me loves him. I want all my kids to be his.
So you were with another man?
Yes, I was.
She admits she cheated on guys with Mr. McCarroll because she couldn't stay away. She dumped her boyfriend when she found out she was pregnant. Her plan? Get her family back together, but it's not looking good.
In the past, I have cheated on guys with him because, like I said, I love him. When I got pregnant with him, I was with someone and I broke up with him, and I told the other guy why I was breaking up with him, because I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I wanted to have a family with him. I wanted to get married to him. Like I said, I've been with him since I was 18. I love him. Any man I ever talked to know that I love him, okay?
She brings a whole conception calendar to prove her case. He looks confused, saying he doesn't even remember the exact date. But just when the argument settles, another man walks in.
You're handing up calendar.
Based on that calendar, I could see my son on April the 28th.
In blue is the date you were intimate with Mr. McCarroll.
Yes, ma'am.
You have outlined the window of conception that you calculated.
I actually went online because when I found out that I was pregnant, I had currently went to the doctor a week before. I was trying to have a son.
Turns out she was with Mr. Perkins just 2 days before Mr. McCarroll. Mr. Perkins looks shocked, saying he had no idea she was still seeing her ex. The judge is officially done with this nonsense.
We slept together also on April the 26th. That's the day that I split up with him.
But I'm so bad, though.
Ms. Bryson, that's just 2 days before you said you slept with Mr. McCarroll.
I understand that. Yes, ma'am.
Why are you not including him as a possible father?
Well, I just don't think that he is. My son, he looked just like my daughter. And also, I have another 6-week-old by him.
The judge calls him out for acting like the good guy while being in this mess. He swears he provides for his kids, but the judge isn't buying it. Now, it's time for the real truth. DNA results.
Your Honor, when I met her, she didn't have nothing. I took her, she had never been...
And she still don't have nothing according to you, so what does that say about you?
Right.
And she got all your babies. No, stop over-talking me. I want an answer to that. Because just a few minutes ago, you said to me, I could have prevented all. Didn't have to be another beautiful black woman out here with baby. It has been determined by this court. Mr. McCarroll, you are not the father.
This whole thing is straight up wild. Judge Lake introduces the case where Ms. Hilburn is caught in a love triangle that led to her baby, Saria. Mr. Barnes really hopes he's the dad, but things are already looking messy.
Ms. Hilburn, you admit that you've been caught up in a love triangle
Yes,
for
Your
the
Honor.
past 3 years, which you say resulted in the birth of your 10-month-old daughter, Saray. But you're here to prove she is the defendant's baby.
Yes, Your Honor.
Imagine doing everything for a baby, only to find out she might not be yours. Mr. Barnes was there for ultrasounds, the birth, and even showed up at the hospital first. Then boom, he finds out he couldn't sign the birth certificate because Ms. Hilburn is still married.
It's a father-daughter relationship. I was there from start to finish. I was there for appointments, ultrasounds. I was there when she was born. I got there before I did to the hospital. I signed all the paperwork to be on the birth certificate. Well, I couldn't be because she is still legally married, so I was not able to be put on it.
Oh, she's still legally married to someone
Your Honor.
else?
Valentine's Day is supposed to be about love, not heartbreak. Mr. Barnes found out his girlfriend cheated when she went out and didn't answer her phone. The next morning, she casually rolls back in with the other guy, and people straight up told him what happened.
Before Valentine's Day, which is the first time it happened, I was at work. She said she was going to a friend. I get home, I try texting her, try calling her, no response. The next day, Miss Hilburn and the other gentleman, I was informed by the people who brought them that they had slept together that night.
That is not true. I told him that I'd slept
She had
with
been
the other
telling
man.
him that she was not with anybody at that point in time.
This story somehow gets even wilder. Mr. Barnes, Ms. Hilburn, and the other guy were living together while she was sleeping with both of them. The audience just about lost their minds when she admitted to pulling that off.
So you all are living in the house together?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you sleeping with both of them while you live in the house with both of them, Ms. Hilburn?
Yes, I was.
I'm not trying to give anyone tips, but how did you pull that off?
He would go to work. As soon as he left, me and the other guy would have sex.
Wow.
Just when you think this can't get worse, boom, she's pregnant again. Ms. Hilburn doesn't know if Mr. Barnes or the other guy is the father. Oh, and she's still sleeping with both of them.
5 months after this baby was born, I became pregnant again.
Oh, so you're pregnant now?
Yes, 7 months.
You're pregnant right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know who this child's father is?
It could be Mr. Barnes or the other guy.
It's the same situation.
Guess we can cancel our vacation
Absolutely.
because Ms. Hilburn will be returning.
Now they can't even agree on when the truth came out. Mr. Barnes says he didn't know about the other guy until 2 months after Saria was born. Ms. Hilburn swears she told him before, but honestly, who even knows at this point?
I didn't find out about the other guy until 2 months after Saray was born. We had gotten into an argument and she had let slip that I may not be the father, so
I
really want to be.
did tell him before the baby was born that there was a chance that she could not be his.
You
So-
told me 2 months after Saray was born.
Told you
That's
2
when
months before
most of
Saray
the
was
problems
born.
between you and I started dealing with that gorgeous girl right there.
Now it turns out Saria is being used as a bargaining chip. Mr. Barnes says Ms. Hilburn threatens to take the baby away when she doesn't get what she wants. Meanwhile, the other guy only acts like a dad when it annoys Mr. Barnes.
Somebody tried to play your baby like she's a little pawn in the game?
Yes.
She does the same thing, Your Honor. She holds her over my head. If somebody doesn't do what she wants or something happens that she disapproves of, she will threaten to take her away from me, not let me see her.
This other guy, what if he's the father?
He's not going to be a dad.
If this situation wasn't bad enough, Mr. Barnes has a girlfriend. But guess what? She lives with her ex and their kids.
So, Mr. Barnes, you got a girlfriend.
Yes, I do.
Does she know about this relationship?
She suspects, but when you don't see your girlfriend for 7 months, you don't see her, what else you supposed to do?
You say you don't see your girlfriend for 7 months?
Yeah, she lives on the property with her baby daddy and her kids.
Well, here it is.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Barnes, you are not Saray's father.
This part was straight up movie level crazy. Wilson let Ms. Dean move in, treated her well, and then found out she was sneaking around with other men in his own house. He says he's been tricked before and refuses to get played again. Wilson just wants answers, but he's about to get a whole lot more drama instead.
Mr. Wilson, you've opened your case today to prove that Ms. Dean's 17-month-old daughter, Jakaya, is not your biological child. You say you moved her into your home, laid out the red carpet, only to find out she was rolling around with other men in your home.
Ms. Dean comes in swinging, saying Wilson is straight up lying and making things up like a kid caught eating cookies. She swears they planned the baby together, and Wilson was all in until he randomly switched up. Just when you think she's got a good case, Wilson drops a huge bomb about why he started doubting everything.
It really is. He's being not only belligerent and lying. Him and his family is lying because not only did we plan this baby, We had concessions. I had my period. Literally getting down, doing things besides just.
Oh, that's a concession.
Yeah, a concession.
Okay.
So when I say we having a concession, I mean everything over and above.
Okay.
Wilson says when he looks at the baby, all he sees is Ms. Dean's ex, and now he's questioning everything. He got even more suspicious when Ms. Dean posted a pic of the baby with another guy, and suddenly things weren't adding up. Then Wilson comes through with receipts, and it's about to get even messier.
I see the baby, but I don't see me in the baby. I see the ex in the baby. She posted a Facebook picture of the baby with him, and it looks like baby, not mine.
Who is with him?
So you actually say, I wanted to have this baby together.
Yes.
Where did everything go wrong?
Her
if you
story
planned
not
it,
consistent, the word she used. Yeah.
Okay.
It was not consistent as her storytelling.
Why
As
wasn't
the
it?
truth kept coming about, the lies kept adding up to it.
Wilson says Ms. Dean was always whispering in another room like she was planning a secret mission. Then he finds out her ex was over all the time, chilling on her couch like he paid rent. Ms. Dean denies everything, but Wilson isn't letting this go anytime soon.
She's whispering, I hear echoes. She's always in a different room of the apartment. And I'm like, why you never around the kids? Why? She's like, I can't talk now because my ex is here. And why is he there 11 o'clock at night if the kids got school in the morning?
With that other guy, he just don't want to take responsibility and be a man and stand up. He is lying. He came
He
over
visited
to
30
visit.
days?
He lied. How was it 30 days when we was having concessions all that time?
Wilson says he ran into Ms. Dean's ex at the bus stop, and dude just casually said, yeah, I'm the dad. Wilson is standing there, trying to process the madness, while this guy is completely unbothered. If Wilson had doubts before, now he's got proof, but the drama is far from over.
When I ran into him at the bus stop, I said, this is coincidence. Now I can man up and ask him face to face. What's the story in his end? If it add up to what she's telling me, then I have no doubts. He's like, yeah. I said, what y'all supposed to be having? He said, a little girl. He went into details. So there, that fueled my
Lying.
doubts. When the
Playing.
baby was born, it was so light and bright. I was like, he's so dark, she's dark. It's no way he's the father.
Ms. Dean accuses Wilson of taking the baby and disappearing like a magician. She says he was using the baby to impress another woman, while Wilson says he just needed time to figure things out. Just when you think this can't get wilder, Wilson's sister steps in.
why would he just have the baby?
He had the baby trying to take the baby so he can be with someone else. He used me, basically.
She watched too many life.
After I had that baby, Your Honor, he proposed to me, told me that we were going to get married, moved in together, took the baby, tried to move away. Well, tried to have the baby in his care. He never took her because I gave her to him.
Wilson's sister is not here to play. She says Ms. Dean is only after money, not the truth. She claims Ms. Dean's own family doubted that Wilson was the dad. Just when things start calming down, Wilson gets real emotional about what this baby meant to him.
I asked my brother, why are you dealing with her again? She did this to you 9 years ago.
Okay.
It was a grievance and it was attachment instantly. Like, this is my baby. I think that she's attaching to him financially. It's not for looking for the father of this child. It's about what the baby can get from this man. She knew what she had done. When my brother had this baby, we were gonna take it and do what we need to do for the baby. She came to my home.
Wilson says after losing his dad, this baby gave him a reason to live again. He really thought Ms. Dean was giving him the family he always wanted, but now he's not so sure. It's time for the moment of truth, the DNA test results.
It was a chance for me to live again. It was giving me purpose because I was so attached to my father. She was willing to give me something that she kind of even regretted not giving me in the beginning of our relationship when we had history. I didn't have no doubt that we planned this. It should have been that. But somebody was not committed and consistent, and it was not me.
Judge Lake opens the envelope and boom.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Wilson, you are not the father.
This case was a mess from the start. Judge Lake introduces Reeves versus Silva, where Ms. Reeves claims Mr. Silva is the father of her baby, Legend. Mr. Silva confidently says, no way, but his reasoning is about to make this even crazier.
Ms. Reeves, you are here today to prove that the defendant, Mr. Silva, is the biological father of your 7-month-old son, Legend. Mr. Silva, you were involved in a paternity case on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta in support of your sister, who took a DNA test to prove paternity of her child.
This man really said men are meant to cheat. He claims it's natural for men to do whatever they want, but women can't. Judge Lake and the audience lose it, and Ms. Reeves is straight up done with him.
I just don't trust her, Your Honor. I feel like she's tricking me into believing that I'm Legend's father. I grew up loving women, loving sex.
You grew up loving sex.
And women can't go out, have sex, and come home, and especially with a baby, trying to say that I'm his father. I just want to.
Basically, all of this started because all he wanted to do was cheat on me. I've been nothing but faithful to him since I first met him.
Mr. Silva swears he can't be the dad because she texted her ex. Meanwhile, he was out here acting single the whole time. Somehow, he still thinks he's the victim.
Well, we was broken up at the time, but immediately, as soon as I told him that I was pregnant, he was like, oh, okay, with who?
We were broken up for 4 weeks, Your Honor. I called her texting her ex.
Is that why you broke up?
Yes, Your Honor.
When you
I confronted her
with
about texting her ex. I caught them texting multiple times. She claims they're just friends. One day, I just decided to try to go on her phone, and she changed her password on me.
He ghosted her for the entire pregnancy, but showed up at the hospital. Even then, he only signed the birth certificate because he felt pressured. So he didn't want to claim the baby, but signed up anyway? Make it make sense.
As soon as she told me, I told her who was the father. So I did not believe I was the father, and I was not with her during her pregnancy. I was only there to be supportive during the birth. Throughout the whole time, I'm telling her I want a DNA test. In the hospital, none but her family was there. I was by myself. You know, I came in. As soon as the legend was born, the doctor came in the room, straight to me and gave me the paper. I didn't want to make her look bad, so
So you signed the birth certificate?
Yes.
Ms. Reeves pulls out receipts from a woman saying Mr. Silva told her she didn't know who the father was. He admits he lied just to be grimy. So now he's both messy and reckless.
Like, well, I have proof right here. A girl, she messaged me basically saying that, you know, they was talking. He was her boyfriend as well. He didn't know me. I'm just.
So you got a message out of the blue from another woman. And it says, he told me you were his ex and that you were pregnant, but you're and didn't know who the dad was.
Yes, ma'am.
He says if the baby isn't his, both Reeves and Legend can kick rocks. Ms. Reeves is emotional, saying she doesn't want her son growing up feeling unwanted. Meanwhile, Mr. Silva is praying the baby doesn't look like her ex.
I just feel a little hurt, you know what I mean? Because, like, we have a beautiful baby together. And I don't want him to grow up feeling like, oh, my daddy didn't even think that I was his. I don't want him to feel like, you know, we were just being irresponsible. I want him to love me the way that I love my parents. I want him to grow up the same way that I grew up with both of his parents in his life. You know what I mean?
Mr. Silva, you are the father.
This case is already a circus, and the show just started. Ms. Hicks wants to prove that Mr. Smith is the dad, but he says his body doesn't even make babies. Then he calls her own sister as a witness to back him up, because why not make this even messier?
Ms. Hicks, you say the sins of your past have brought you into court today to save your relationship. You are petitioning the court for a DNA test to prove that the defendant is the father of your 3-month-old daughter, Honesty.
If loyalty was a test, Ms. Hicks's sister just flunked. She straight up tells the court her sister cheats all the time and Mr. Smith is not the only possible dad. Ms. Hicks fires back with sarcasm, but Mr. Smith clings to his I can't have kids excuse like it's his last lifeline.
She telling false lies, okay? I know for a fact that he was not the only one she was sleeping with.
in the same bed with me when I'm sleeping with these people. I get it.
They was staying with me for some time, okay? From what I know, my sister's a cheater. She been like that her whole life, okay?
You hear the allegations that have been stated thus far. This is what leads you to believe you are not the biological father of Honesty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now things get weird. Mr. Smith says a weightlifting injury made him baby-proof. Ms. Hicks is like, well, explain this fully existing baby right here. He still insists he physically can't be the father, even though the baby is literally in front of him.
I used to work out a lot, and one time strained myself too hard, and I had to go to the hospital, and the doctor told me that I couldn't have kids, that my testicles had dropped by that time.
Male hypogonadism is a condition in which the body doesn't produce enough testosterone or has an impaired ability to produce sperm or both.
Mr. Smith pulled out the ultimate receipt, text messages from another guy. The messages were all, hey, when can I get some? And she allegedly said, come over when he's gone. Ms. Hicks says she doesn't even remember the texts, which is super convenient.
I went through her phone and found text messages, and it said when I can get that kitty cat.
Oh. The other guy said, I miss that kitty cat. You know he leaves, so you can come over anytime.
Yes, Your Honor.
You saw this message and you feel like she was definitely sleeping around. Did something similar to this come through your phone?
I don't even remember that text message, Your Honor.
This case turns into an action movie when Mr. Smith says a dude jumped out of a window. He swears he saw someone bolt across a field while Ms. Hicks took 30 minutes to open the door. She claps back saying, sir, we live on the 2nd floor.
Well, I came out the car. I seen somebody jump out the window, and I'm knocking on the door for like 30 minutes.
And so wait, were you there when the guy jumped out the window?
I'm looking at him run through the field.
And it took her at least 30 minutes to open up the door.
The day he came to the house, he has a habit of losing his key.
Plot twist. Mr. Smith admits he pretended to be happy about the baby. He was all smiles on the outside, but in his head he was like, nope, this ain't my kid. Ms. Hicks is confused because he was literally calling the baby beautiful and saying she looked like him.
You found out she's pregnant?
Yes.
Were you happy about it?
Faking it to her, but I know in my mind that
Faking it.
I can't have.
Oh, you were faking it to her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything. I mean, at the hospital, you're there. He was like, oh, she looked just like me. She's so beautiful. Where's all this doubt coming from all of a sudden?
You know, Your Honor, because I felt sorry for her because she could have lost her life.
An actual doctor comes in to set things straight. She says hypogonadism can affect fertility, but doesn't mean zero sperm. Mr. Smith's I can't have kids excuse is now looking real shaky.
So hypogonadism is when the body doesn't produce enough testosterone. You can either be born with it or you can develop it later in life. Usually from things like infection or an injury to the testicles can also cause it. But nature gives us 2 testicles, and so usually it has to be a profound injury to not one, but both testicles to actually cause hypogonadism.
And now, the moment of truth. The results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Smith, you are the father.
This was a total mess from the start. Ms. Van Meter admits she cheated, and that's why Mr. Watkins isn't sure the kid is his. She has no idea why he's still around, and honestly, neither do we.
We are not in a relationship. We just live together at the moment. Broke up because of the simple fact that I cheated. He has just stayed and he's been there throughout everything, throughout the whole birth, throughout my son being 3 now. He's just played his dad the whole time. I don't really know why he stayed. I just know he has stayed.
This was straight up wild. Mr. Watkins catches her deleting texts, leaves to cool off, and boom, her family tells him she was in a car outside getting busy. She admits it, but says it just happened like she slipped and fell into cheating.
I saw her on the couch texting. See what she's doing. She's texting and deleting messages. And she's like, oh, I was just talking to my friend. Would you deleting messages? What she was saying, and I was like, you wasn't saying that because you deleted them. I left, just cool down, because I don't like sticking around arguing about nothing. So I was coming back. One of her family picked me up and told me that they saw her outside in the car doing what she was doing with the dude.
This was just embarrassing. Ms. Van Meter confesses she had intimate violence in a car right outside the house while her family was inside. Not only did they catch her, but they totally snitched.
So you had sex in front of the house in a car, and your family was inside the house, and then they told on you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow. So, Mr. Watkins, you're riding in the car.
Yeah.
How do you find out that it's the guy with the text message?
She told me who it was, who
When
the
you confronted
actual
her.
person was.
I was going to tell him when we got
and then
there.
my whole thing
But
was, you said it was a friend, right?
Now things get extra suspicious. She finds out she's pregnant a week or 2 after her little car moment, but swears she used protection. Mr. Watkins isn't buying it, and honestly, neither is anyone else.
You do have this sexual encounter, and then you find out you're pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor.
How long after that?
Maybe a week or 2 after the fact. I don't remember the exact date, but when I had sex with him, I did use protection.
She told me she didn't use it, and then she
I
told
told
me
you
she
I did
did
not
use
remember
it. She said
if
she
I
didn't
did, but I
remember.
did.
Everything explodes into chaos. Judge Lake calls her out, and she finally admits she really wants Watkins to be the dad. Meanwhile, Watkins is standing there like, so we're just now admitting all this?
That is because I had a scare about my cancer and I had a biopsy done. At the end of the day, if something happens to me, I want my son to know who his dad is because I want him to be there for that person and to know that he loves them and all that.
Who's listed as father?
Nobody. I'm the only one on there.
But he has Mr. Watkins' last name.
He named him.
Here it is, the big moment.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Watkins, you are the father.
All right. She got me. You know, you don't have to worry about that. If I'm a man, I'm gonna step up and do what I gotta do. My job is to protect you and to love you, to show you how a man's supposed to treat you, you know.
This case is already messy right from the start. Ms. Rogers says Mr. Stone got her pregnant, but he's dodging responsibility. He says it was just a fling and that she was with other guys. Things are already heating up.
You say after an encounter with your elementary school sweetheart, you ended up pregnant. Has gone through great lengths to deny he is the father of your son, Christian. You say Ms. Rogers is promiscuous and it was only a casual fling. You say she has even slept with some of your friends and therefore it is impossible you are the father of her baby.
Ms. Rogers runs into her childhood crush, and somehow they go from long time no see to having intimate violence twice in one day. Their fling lasted about a month before she found out he had a girlfriend. Just when you think that's the big drama, nope, it gets worse.
I was at my friend's house, or I was at her boyfriend's house, and we were chilling, and he walked through the door, and I'm like, really? We was talking, laughing, we We went back to my friend's house with her boyfriend, and we had sex that day. We left her house and went back to his house and had sex again a couple times. And after that, it's just like repeatedly we would hang out, have sex.
And then, boom, Mr. Stone drops a bomb. Their unprotected night together was during a threesome. The judge mishears and thinks he said freezer, making things even funnier. The audience is already losing it, and we're only getting started.
Did you have unprotected sex
One time,
with
Your
Miss
Honor.
Stone?
It was not one time.
And that was in the threesome.
It was not. It was
In
not
the
one time.
where?
And the threesome between me, her, and...
We had a threesome. The night I found out that he had a girlfriend, we had a threesome.
Jerome, at first I thought he said in the freezer.
Ms. Rogers finds out she's pregnant while getting a birth control shot. Talk about bad timing. She's scared because she's 18 with twins and just got into college. Mr. Stone, however, swears she never even told him.
I went to the doctor to get my birth control shot because I know I'm having sex, so I'm like, I need to go because I don't want to have no more kids.
Anymore?
I have twins.
18 years old with 3 children?
Yes. I didn't want no more kids because I had just gotten accepted to college. Things was looking up, so I was like, I wanted to like put the cap on before anything happened, not knowing that I was already pregnant. So it was like, I was scared.
Ms. Rogers says Mr. Stone was right there for the ultrasound and even roasted the baby's big head. Mr. Stone says he never saw it and only got a picture through a text. Someone here is clearly lying, and the audience knows it.
Yeah, I wasn't driving. I was in the passenger seat. My friend came to me. We were chilling, talking, and then he said he had to go pick them up and drop them off.
He saw the ultrasound pictures when I came out the hospital. He looked at them. He held them in his hand and looked at them.
No, I did not.
Picture of my ultrasound. It said, you're having a boy. I didn't find out I was pregnant until I was 4 months pregnant. I give him that. I'm in the car with my friend. They had been over my house. They was like, I said, can you take me to my ultrasound? She said, okay.
Now we've reached the math part of the drama. Ms. Rogers says the doctor confirmed the baby was conceived in November, which lines up with their fling. Mr. Stone, though, is looking at the timeline like it's an impossible puzzle.
The lady said that I got pregnant during the beginning of November.
No, Your Honor, we were intimate between the 17th and the 22nd. My birthday is the 24th. It was the week before my birthday.
We had been having sex for almost a month. We started having sex at the end of October towards the end of November.
It was the beginning, like the mid-November.
Ms. Rogers pulls out text message receipts where Mr. Stone calls the baby my baby. Now he's backpedaling, saying he got attached but still isn't sure. At this point, everyone is just waiting for that DNA test.
This is the first time he's saying this. Let me tell you something. When me and him talk, this is his baby. This is
really
baby. He says my baby. He does not say the baby. He says my baby.
Text messages. The messages say, from Mr. Stone, what are you doing? And you say, sitting here. And Mr. Stone says, oh, okay, I miss Nugget. You write, okay. And then you write back, Mr. Stone, when can I have my baby?
And then, boom, plot twist.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Stone, you are not the father.
This situation was wild from the start. Phelan Hannon thought Kimball was her dad until at 13, he hit her with, I am not your father. Years later, on her mom's deathbed, she found out her real dad was David Dorsey. Now, she had to track down a man she had never met.
Miss Hannon, you grew up believing one man was your father until the age of 13 when he said, I am not your daddy. Your mother then told you on her deathbed that another man, the defendant David Dorsey, is your biological father. You are here to prove paternity.
When Phelan was little, she asked Kimball to take her to a daddy-daughter dance. Instead of just going, he told her, I'm not your dad. Good luck. That's a next-level RSVP rejection. Just when it seemed bad, things got even messier.
Well, I believe David Dorsey is my biological father, but I grew up with my grandparents and my mom. Like you said, I was known for a man named Kimball to be my dad. I called him one day, the daddy-daughter dance. Instead of his response being, yes, I'll be there, it was, your mother's still lying to you, not your dad, you need to go find your real dad.
How cruel.
Before passing, Phelan's mom finally admitted she had guessed wrong. David Dorsey was her actual dad. So now, on top of grieving, Phelan had to track down a stranger and hope he didn't reject her too. Buckle up, this ride was far from over.
My mom, we would have our heart-to-heart because she was sick my whole entire life. You know, she would be talking about Kimball, she would talk about David. On her deathbed, she told me, I thought I picked the right one for you, but David's your father.
So just before your mother passed, she says to you, I thought I picked the right one for you, but David Dorsey is really your biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Denial. Imagine telling someone, hey, you might be my dad, and they reply, I don't even know your mom. David stood there, denying everything, while the audience gasped like they were watching a soap opera. But the receipts were coming.
You don't believe you're her biological father?
No, Your Honor.
Why?
Because I don't remember her mother at all.
You don't remember her mother.
I don't know her mother.
So you are standing here at the defendant's podium in this courtroom today saying you know you cannot be Miss Hannon's biological father because you have never met her mother.
No, I haven't, Your Honor.
David thought he could deny it all until Phelan's godmother stepped in. She said, "Oh no, sir, I remember you." She recalled David bringing Phelan's mom lunch at work. Suddenly, he wasn't looking so sure of himself.
Me and Phelan's mother, Veronica, we worked together. Mr. Dorsey, I have seen him come to the job to bring her mom lunch. Her mom would talk about her baby daddy being David.
Your Honor.
You don't remember any of
Your
this?
Honor, I've never had sex with this woman.
David claimed he didn't know Phelan's mom, but then it turned out he had a different last name, David Watkins. That was the name Phelan had heard her whole life. Either this was a wild coincidence or someone's memory was off.
Because I remember her mom talking about a David. That's your dad.
Oh wait,
But it
this
was
is David
Watkins.
Dorsey. You said David Watkins.
It was a David
My name used to be David Watkins. I was adopted, and he changed my name to Watkins, and then when I got grown, I changed my name back to my dad's name.
So what are you thinking? You thinking this woman just made this up?
Your Honor, I don't know this woman.
David's daughter, Melody, walked in and was like, "Dad, stop playing." She hugged Phelan and said, "That's my sister." If David wouldn't claim Phelan, Melody was going to do it for him.
I love you too. That's my sister. You know, I don't mean to disrespect my dad, but my dad was a Rolling Stone, okay? So he was the man, and like, he was very known on the North Side for being David Watkins, you know, the Slayer.
Melody revealed that people had always said Phelan looked just like her. She even saw Phelan's picture and thought, "That's literally me." Meanwhile, David was still like, "I don't know, I don't remember. Sir, do you need glasses?"
There's this girl that looks like you. She looks so much like you. Can you please just get in contact with this girl, please? Because you look so much like her. Went onto Facebook, you know, and I looked up her name. When I seen her face, I was like, if that's not me, maybe about a good 50 pounds ago, I mean.
Even David started questioning himself. He admitted Phelan looked like him and his daughter, but stuck to his "I don't remember" story. No worries, the DNA test was about to settle this.
I feel sorry for her.
Is there any part of you that says, if she is my daughter, I've missed out on 30 years of this woman's life, this young woman, this beautiful, smart young woman, I've missed out on her life?
Yeah, I'm torn that way too, though. I feel one kind of way, but then I feel bad if I missed out on her life, if I am her father.
Judge Lake opened the envelope and the room went silent. The result?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Dorsey, you are not the father.
This case is already a mess before it even starts. Miss Lockridge is 100% sure Mr. Tidwell is the father of her 10-month-old son, King, so she dragged him to court to prove it. Meanwhile, Mr. Tidwell looks lost, claiming they weren't in a real relationship and saying someone else must be the dad. Buckle up, this is just the beginning.
Ms. Lockridge, you've dragged the defendant, Mr. Tidwell, to court because he has refused to acknowledge your 10-month-old son, King. You are 100% sure he's the father and claim today's results will prove your case. You say you were never in a serious relationship with Ms. Lockridge and you were stunned when she told you she was pregnant.
Dispute. If confusion was a sport, these two would be gold medalists. Miss Lockridge says Mr. Tidwell has been a total ghost. No diapers, no clothes, no visits. She's taken long trips just for him to see the baby, and he still barely tries. Mr. Tidwell swears they were just hooking up and calls her obsessed. Oh, buddy, you have no idea what's coming.
Your Honor, Mr. Tidwell does not have a relationship with my son. The only time he's actually seen my son is when I've made it a convenience for him and brought him to him. That means traveling 4 hours on bus. He hasn't helped with diapers. He barely helped with any clothes, and it hurt. It's frustrating. He named my son King, and how am I supposed to raise a king, and he's not there?
You named him King, Mr. Tidwell?
Yes, Your Honor.
Reveal Imagine a sticky note, but instead of a reminder, it's an ultrasound photo. Miss Lockridge says she left a note and picture on his bed because his brother was there. Mr. Tidwell claims he was blindsided and only found out later through a text. That's one way to break the news, but wait until they discuss conception.
She came over to my house. We hung out. The next day, I see a piece of paper on my bed. I grab it, I looked at it. It was a note with an ultrasound in it. I'm not sure the exact words of the note, but it said that she didn't know how to tell me this, and she's sorry she had to tell me like that. So I called her. She didn't answer the phone. She ended up leaving me a text message saying that she was sorry and that she didn't know how to tell me that she was pregnant.
This pregnancy talk is next level awkward. Miss Lockridge says she mentioned having her period a week before, but Mr. Tidwell told her to shut up and carried on. Yes, that's a direct quote. The courtroom's collective jaw dropped. Mr. Tidwell calls it a total lie, shaking his head like he just heard the wildest thing ever.
When we conceived my child, I told him I just had my period
That's
a week
a lie,
ago.
Your Honor.
He said, shut up, and we kept going at it.
Oh,
That's
wow.
a lie, Your Honor.
You thought that he wanted or didn't mind if he got you pregnant.
I mean, he just got another girl pregnant 4 months prior, and I asked him, what you gonna do about it? He said, if it's mine, then I'm gonna take care of it. So next time I come over, heck yeah, I'm excited.
This is the part where the audience starts shaking their heads. Miss Lockridge kept him updated on doctor's appointments and even sent baby heartbeat recordings. He still didn't show up. She went through 36 hours of labor alone, and a nurse had to get special permission to stay with her. And just when you think he looks bad, it gets worse.
He didn't care about, I texted him when I was every doctor's appointment. I even sent him voice recordings of the heartbeat, all that. Like, when I had my son, I was in labor for 36 hours completely by myself, to the point where the nurse that was with me, she had to call the doctor and ask the doctor if she could stay with me because I was by myself.
This is like a game of telephone gone wrong. Mr. Tidwell's mom says Miss Lockridge ditched the baby on them for 2 weeks. Miss Lockridge says she asked them to watch him while she worked. Mr. Tidwell swears she disappeared and later returned with a mystery man. The drama just keeps piling up.
I don't understand how a mother could actually leave her child with that she doesn't really even know very well for 2 weeks.
It wasn't
and
2
get
weeks.
on the
It was
plane
Thursday
and
to
go
Tuesday
to Nevada, saying she had a modeling job, just all of a sudden just jumps up and leaves this baby with us. We took care of the baby at that time.
I call her, I'm like, when are you coming back? Like, I have stuff to do too. I have, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, boom, she was there.
This debate is like an episode of CSI Baby Edition. Miss Lockridge presents baby photos as evidence, swearing King looks exactly like Mr. Tidwell's family. She even calls him an Ethiopian baby. Mr. Tidwell's mom isn't convinced, but all this arguing won't matter once the DNA results come in.
So here's the first picture. That is my son, King. And here's the second picture. That is Mr. Tidwell. The thing that catches me up is he looks like his side of the family.
He looks like an Ethiopian baby.
Really?
Yes, he does to me.
That's King.
And the next photo is Mr. Tidwell as a baby.
Look at the earmarks, the ear tags. There's nobody else.
Do you see a resemblance?
No.
If you placed a bet, you might want a refund.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Tidwell, you are not his father.
This episode is wild from the start, and the drama is real. Miss Salvo is sure Mr. Gonzalez is the dad. She admits she had a boyfriend at the time and thought he was the dad. But when she saw Amaya, she thought, nope, this baby looks Hispanic. But let's be real, a dimple isn't a paternity test.
The reason we stopped with contact, because, I mean, he did help me financially when I was pregnant, because at first I thought that she was his. When I looked at her, I just knew it wasn't his. My ex-boyfriend, she looks Hispanic to the fullest.
Are in.
Mr. Gonzalez, it has been determined by this court.
This was one of the saddest things ever. Mrs. Watts tells the court how both of her sons were ambushed and eliminated. Just when you think things can't get worse, there's a whole other problem.
Mrs. Watts, you are here on behalf of your deceased son, Alex, who was tragically murdered just a few months ago. I'm very sorry for your loss. You stand here on his behalf because you doubt he fathered the defendant's 20-month-old son, Caden, and you have asked for a DNA test to determine the truth.
Losing her sons was bad enough. Now she has to wonder if Caden is really her grandson. She explains that Alex never fully claimed the baby, which makes her suspicious. Now she needs a DNA test to get the truth.
I was told that my son Alex had been taken to the hospital in critical condition. When I got to the hospital to see Alex, he had passed. He had died on arrival. This has been very difficult for me.
I am so very sorry. Where you have now had to live with a doubt as to whether or not this beautiful little boy, Caden, is in fact your grandchild.
Yes.
Ms. Cheryl is 100% sure Alex is the dad. She even shows a cute video of Alex and Caden together. But then, the court digs into her past statements, and things start looking sketchy.
The relationship was like a father and son bond relationship. They were like two peas in a pod. Alex loved Caden to death.
Yeah, because like you don't hear what I'm saying? You mad at me now? You want to annoy me? I don't care.
Mrs. Watts brings out a text where Ms. Cheryl admits she wasn't sure who the dad was. The courtroom reacts like they just saw a plot twist in a movie. And trust me, it only gets messier from here.
Alex's, and she said that she didn't know she needed a DNA test. She sent it to me in a text message.
Do you have that text message?
I do.
And you ask, question, are you pregnant by Alex? And Miss Cheryl responds, I don't really know, I don't believe so, but at this moment, I don't know, I have to get a blood test.
Caden's birth certificate doesn't even have Alex's name on it. On top of that, he doesn't even have Alex's last name. The judge and audience are side-eyeing Ms. Cheryl hard right now.
On the birth certificate, there is no father's name listed. Caden's last name is not your last name.
I gave him a friend of mine's last name only because I didn't want to give him a female's last name. name. When the time came for me and Alex to get a blood test, I told him we can go down to the court, okay, and we can get his last name changed, no problem.
Alex's stepdad steps up and says Alex never mentioned Caden. He points out that Alex took a DNA test for his first daughter, but never did for Caden. The doubt just keeps growing.
If somebody got a child, they gonna say, well, this is my baby. Here, mama, look at my baby.
He never mentioned I have a baby on the way.
No, I just started seeing pictures like this. I'm like, well, he got a baby.
Alex has another daughter.
Yes.
Saying that this is my child.
Yes.
But Alex also got a blood test with his daughter also. They did get a blood test with her too.
Boom, the results are in.
It has been determined by this court. The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Lita Watts and Caden is 0.006%. You are not related.
This case was wild from the start. Mr. Jenkins says he found his long-lost daughter, but Ms. Bond is like, who is this man? The whole courtroom is already confused, and it only gets crazier.
Mr. Jenkins, you reached out to the court to open a case. You believe that you have a long-lost daughter and hope to one day find her to prove you are her father. So we've located the woman you believe is your daughter, and she's here in court today.
Imagine some random guy showing up saying he's your dad. Yep, that's Ms. Bond's life today. She shows her birth certificate like a receipt, proving his name isn't on there. Jenkins, however, isn't backing down that easily.
So this is your birth certificate?
Yes.
Under father's legal name, nothing is recorded.
Yes, Your Honor.
But you were raised by a man that you believe, you were told was your biological father.
Yes, he died in a car accident in 1999 with my mother, and I believe that that was my father.
So, Ms. Bond, ultimately, you come to court today completely in the dark.
Yes.
Jenkins pulls out an old ultrasound pic like it's a VIP pass to fatherhood land. He says he went to doctor visits and saved the photo for 24 years. Ms. Bond looks at him like he just tried to sell her a time machine.
It's an ultrasound picture that I used to go to the hospital with her.
You did. So when you found out she was pregnant,
I was excited. I said, I got my first child. I got a girl.
So this is an ultrasound picture of Ms. Bond.
Yes.
That you've saved all these years.
Over 24 years, I've been saving that picture right there.
Ms. Bond shares that she's been struggling and feels completely alone. Her story is heartbreaking, and the whole room gets quiet. Jenkins sees her pain, but she still isn't sure about him.
I felt alone. You know, I didn't have anyone to talk to. I didn't have anyone. I lost my mother and my father, and I didn't have anybody. I'm still struggling. I'm homeless. I'm trying to get my children, and I have no one on my side, and I just feel so alone. I feel like a part of me is really missing.
How many children do you have?
I have 2 sons.
There, Jenkins goes full movie dad mode and swears he's here now. He promises to love and support her, but she's still like, we'll see. The courtroom feels like a dramatic soap opera at this point.
Excuse me, Your Honor, she got me. You know, you don't have to worry about that. If I'm a man, I'm gonna step up and do what I gotta do. My job is to protect you and to love you, to show you how a man's supposed to treat you, you know.
I missed that growing up. I didn't have a father figure to tell me, you know, right from wrong. Today, I made a lot of wrong decisions because I didn't have anyone there.
Jenkins says he's been searching everywhere. Social media, phone numbers, knocking on doors. Ms. Bond is like, sir, how did you have my number and still not find me? Honestly, she's got a good point.
I used to go over one of your family members' house. I used to come over there every Christmas. I used to go there. Kept me out on the porch. Played crazy on me. Played like she didn't know who I was. I knocked on doors. I like to submit one more thing to the court.
I have a Facebook page. If you went for social media, you could have found me.
I did everything I could do. I've been looking for you over 24 years. That's one of your numbers that I have.
Jenkins says he lost touch again after her mom died, and the search restarted. Ms. Bond basically tells him, that's sad and all, but you could have tried harder. She's not wrong, and the tension is real.
I talked to her on the phone, and she said, in the next week or so, I'll let you see Andrea. I said, how she's doing? She's doing pretty good. A week later, I called her back at that number. Heard some bad news that she was in a bad car accident. Here we go again. Now it's starting all over again.
She got killed in the car accident. You could have came to the funeral. Still don't feel like you're my father. I'm sorry.
Judge Lake explains that since Jenkins isn't on the birth certificate, he had no legal rights to see her. So even if he wanted to, he couldn't just pop up like, surprise, I'm your dad. Now, it's time for the DNA test.
When you submitted your birth certificate to the court and under father, there was no name listed, because he was not listed, he doesn't have any rights to see you or to stake any claim to visit you, anything.
The room holds its breath as Judge Lake opens the envelope.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Jenkins, you are her father.
He
brought her to my doctor's appointment. That's disrespectful. I asked him, I was like, the day after my son was born, I said, you can come up here and see the baby. He said, oh no, I'm
And
getting
what
a
does
ride
it
from
matter
Denver
if I
now.
drop him off? I was the only one willing to give him a ride to see his own kid.
That's disrespectful.
I have kids. I know what it's like being a single mom, and I would not be with Jesse if he would not take care of responsibilities.
She cheated on me on my birthday.
I did not cheat on you.
She was gone with her ex on my birthday, and then come crawling back after that.
She was gone with Mr. Dallas or somebody else?
Somebody else. There could be more than one person that she's been with.
It's not true, Your Honor.
Ms. Clark says Mr. Newby bailed when she got pregnant because his new girlfriend, Ms. Faulkner, filled his head with doubts. Mr. Newby claims Ms. Clark was seeing someone else, and if he is the dad, wants custody because he thinks she's unfit. And just when it seems messy enough, emotions explode.
Ms. Clark, you claim that you and the defendant, Mr. Newby, dated for only 3 months before you became pregnant with his baby. You say the relationship was moving forward until he left you for a woman you claim is old enough to be his mother. It is your belief that she is the reason Mr. Newby is denying paternity.
Ms. Clark shares her tough past. Her dad's decided to eliminate himself, her mom's death, and addiction struggles during pregnancy. She admits to using drugs while pregnant, but says jail helped her clean up. The crowd applauds her turnaround, but the drama's far from over. Because, of course, it's paternity court, and it only gets messier.
Your Honor, when I met him, I was in drug use, but we were together for 3 months. When he left me, I felt abandonment because when I was younger, at 13 years old, my dad had hung himself because of drug use. And then 5 years later, my mother had died when I was 18 years old because of cancer. So when he left me when I was 7 months pregnant, I felt abandonment and pain and agony.
Mr. Newby's suspicions take center stage. He thinks Ms. Clark cheated, and others kept feeding his doubts. He was initially excited about the pregnancy, even showed off the sonogram, but the gossip got to him. Then things take a strange turn involving fake baby photos.
When she first went to jail, she would call me, and yeah, I would talk to her because I was thinking that the baby might possibly be mine. I've had my doubts from the very beginning. She's constantly lied. She's cheated on me with her ex, like, what, 3-4 times?
Only once. You had doubts about being a father or whatever, then why'd you have this picture taken with me with the first ultrasound and being happy about being a father?
Things get weird when Ms. Clark admits sending Mr. Newby a random baby photo from the internet. Yep, a total internet baby to test if he cared. It only made Mr. Newby more suspicious. And that's not the end. Next up, it's all about hospital visits and boundary disputes.
Well, it was a picture of the internet. It sent him the picture, but I was just upset
she
because
questions why
he
he
had left
questioned
me
you.
to see if he would show any interest of seeing his son because he wasn't
You
doing
showed
that.
him a picture of a fake baby as if the baby had born.
Yeah.
Yes.
A newborn baby. I got a picture on my cell phone. While I was at work, I showed my manager and ran home.
Hospital drama kicks off as Ms. Clark accuses Mr. Newby of showing up to appointments with Ms. Faulkner. She calls it disrespectful, while Ms. Faulkner claims she was just giving a ride. Clearly, no one's on the same page, and now they're arguing about who pays for what.
He brought her to my doctor's appointment. That's disrespectful. I asked him, I was like, the day after my son was born, I said, you can come up here and see the baby. He said, oh no, I'm
And
getting
what
a
does
ride
it
from
matter
Denver
if
now.
I drop him off? I was the only one willing to give him a ride to see his own kid.
That's disrespectful.
I have kids. I know what it's like being a single mom, and I would not be with Jesse if he would not take care of responsibilities.
Ms. Clark accuses Mr. Newby of barely helping with the baby. He says he tried, but Ms. Clark always refused anything from Ms. Faulkner. Judge Lake jumps in, urging Mr. Newby to take more responsibility. But you can tell this fight is far from over, especially as the fitness to raise the child gets questioned.
I would call him and ask him if he can watch him or whatever, if he wants to see him. He said, I can't right now.
That is
I
not true.
want to
And you
take care of the
didn't
baby. I
even let
tried
him
taking
see the
care of the
kid
baby.
until
He would
after
not.
years. And when we bought stuff
anything,
for the
so-
baby, she refused. She said, because Joanne got it, I
Yep,
don't
she didn't
want
want
it.
none.
Because I bought it. She did not want to receive the gifts, and she did not
But
want to
it's not your
want it.
responsibility. It's his
Our
as a
money is
father.
combined.
Yeah, the money.
I don't care.
Mr. Newby claims Ms. Clark is unfit because she used drugs while pregnant. Judge Lake points out Ms. Clark's efforts to get clean, and even Mr. Newby admits she's improved. It's all leading up to the big moment. The DNA results are about to be revealed.
How are you gonna be 7 months pregnant and then stick a needle into both of your guys' bodies?
But I
like
went
that
to jail
baby
and
had to
I'm
go
clean
through that
now,
for no
so-
reason. She didn't even give him a chance.
Ms. Clark admitted that that was an absolute irresponsible action, which was inexcusable. I heard her say that. Mr. Newby, you are the father.
Ms. Holshoe storms into court claiming her mom had a fling with the defendant's dad, making her their sister. The Howard sisters are furious and call her a liar. Ms. Holshoe points out her name in the dad's obituary, and the drama levels up with more accusations.
Ms. Holshoe, you claim your mother had an affair with the defendant's father, and today you're in court to prove that he is your biological father. Ms. Howard, you and your sisters say Ms. Holshoe is a delusional troublemaker whose promiscuous mother destroyed your family and ruined your home.
Ms. Holshoe says she has terminal cancer and wants closure on her dad. She heard about her real dad when her drunk stepdad spilled the tea during a fight. Her mom confirmed it, and things got messy from there.
I've recently learned that I have terminal cancer, and I like to have family history, and I also, which I know they don't want to, but I would also like to, because my stepdad was drunk, he was fighting with my mother, and he said, well, who do you think your father is? And so after that, my mother told me. She took me and introduced me to DL. We had a relationship from then on.
The Howard sisters admit their dad once mentioned Ms. Holshoe might be their sister, but brush it off, claiming her mom slept around. The courtroom erupts into a messy argument, feeling like a Thanksgiving dinner gone bad.
One time when I was 19 years old, my dad, he was in from California. My parents were already divorced. We were in from California. He had us all meet him out at a country bar. We showed up, that and her mother was there. And after about a half hour, we had some drinks and stuff, and my dad
I don't even remember that. And she's lying, and I'm not a that. If anybody's a that, look over there.
Whatever the case may be.
The sisters talk about their dads cheating, but refuse to believe Ms. Holshoe. They share details from their lives, like detectives solving a case they want to ignore, throwing in some mean comments about her mom.
I was in California living with my father. We had packed up our things and moved out because my father had gone to where, at the bar where her mother was working, and caught her cheating on him. Probably has no idea who any of her children belong to.
It's not my fault you guys don't want to know me. It's not my fault that your dad had sex with my mother, and I'm a product of that.
Ms. Holshoe says she was invited to a Howard family reunion by Mr. Howard, but the sisters lose it, calling her a liar. She claims they chased her out, which the sisters deny. It's turning into a real soap opera.
Your Honor, Mr. Howard invited me to a Howard family reunion.
Lies.
It was at Guilford Lake.
That is a total lie.
How does she know where the reunion is if she was invited or someone didn't tell her?
Your Honor, I have been to every single family reunion.
And I have been
she has never been.
Is it held at that location?
I'm sure that she has this information because she's gone from my other sister.
Kelly Howard says she believes Ms. Holshoe because their dad literally introduced her as her sister. Everyone is left wondering if their dad ever thought this situation would end well.
Well, we were out one day, and I was about 19, and he said that he wanted me to meet one of his girlfriends. Met several of them before. So we go to Lynn's mother. He introduces me to her as my sister. We just went about our way after that, and I just took it as for what it was and just...
You never questioned it?
No. Our dad never lied to us.
Judge Lake reveals the DNA results.
That the probability of half-siblingship between Diana Howard and Misty Lynn Holshoe is 98.1%.
Two moms, Miss Taylor and Miss Johnson, team up against Mr. Barber, accusing him of being a deadbeat dad. They want over $7,000 in child support, and they're not holding back. Blames the moms for wanting too much money and causing drama. Miss Taylor claims he only cares about one kid because he's still sneaking around with that mom. It's like a soap opera, and the drama is just heating up.
The only reason you can't support the children you have with Miss Taylor and Miss Johnson is because they ask for too much money. They create too much drama.
His phone rings in court, making everyone laugh while the judge glares. He admits being the dad, but denies being a bad one, which makes Miss Taylor snap. This moment is funny, awkward, and just the tip of the drama iceberg.
What we aren't gonna do is talk at the same time. Mr. Barber, is somebody calling you? Jerome, answer it and see if it's a woman. Sorry, they probably never call back again.
Miss Taylor says she gave birth alone, while Mr. Barber flirted on his phone. He blames work, but she's not buying it. This is just leading to more tension.
I had my daughter by myself. My mother's deceased. My family could not get there. I called him and told him that I was being induced. He stayed for 24 hours, you know, would come.
Judge Lake scolds everyone for all the shouting, saying it hurts the kids. She compares their constant fighting to nails on a chalkboard. The moms roll their eyes, and Mr. Barber tries to act calm. Let's see if anyone steps up.
But when you two go speak, I took a moment to just observe you. You go to not level 10, level 20 in a matter of used to watching people in dispute yell and scream. I can only imagine.
Mr. Barber says he grew up in group homes and didn't learn to care for others. He now works as an engineer. Miss Cooper, the third mom, actually defends Mr. Barber, calling the others bitter. She claims he's great with her kid. The room gets awkward, but the financial drama isn't over.
Do you feel like he treats your child differently?
No, I don't. I feel like he loves all his kids the same. I just feel like me and him have came to a common ground to co-parent. Our relationship and what we've been through, none of that matters.
Is he good?
Yes, he is. Very well. Love. She's a daddy's girl. She's the only one to be with him.
Johnson, 3,180. She tells Mr. Barber being a dad is more than just photo ops. It's like a game show where nobody wins.
You know,
kids down. The moms hope he takes it seriously. It ends on a hopeful note, but this drama feels far from over. Wow, this episode kicks off with fireworks. Miss Jackson is in court to face her husband's mistress and prove the mistress's baby isn't her husband's. Oh, and she's ready to end her marriage if she's wrong. Yep, it's going to be one of those cases. Let's go. Discovery of the actress Miss Lipscomb tries to explain herself and her story. It's wild. She says Mr. Jackson told her he wasn't married, even though he was rocking a wedding ring. But instead of smelling the lies, she bought his excuse. It's about to get even messier, so stick around. Imagine catching your husband's mistress chilling in a hotel room you're paying for. Yeah, that happened. Miss Jackson recalls finding Miss Lipscomb at the hotel and letting her know exactly who the boss is. Spoiler alert, this showdown gets even crazier when Mr. Jackson shows up later.
Maybe a week after that, I was talking to, because my husband went to jail that night, Your Honor. I was angry enough. It was an impulsive decision, and I understand it was not the right decision.
Comes Mr. Jackson, looking like he just walked into a tornado. He admits he never told Miss Lipscomb he was married, saying, "She didn't ask." Really? That's the excuse? The judge isn't buying it, and honestly, neither are we. What happens next is gold. Miss Jackson's generosity.
Miss Lipscomb says she had no idea you had a wife.
No, she didn't, because I never mentioned it to her, Your Honor.
So that part of her statement is true. You never told her you were married.
No, Your Honor.
You think Miss Jackson would be done, right? Nope. She actually bought baby stuff for the mistress's kid because she felt bad. She thought the drama was over, but surprise, Miss Lipscomb admits the affair never really stopped. This mess is nowhere near cleaned up.
Not only have we had conversations, before I didn't deny the child, I went and bought over $900 and some worth of stuff for her baby. Like I told her, from the conversation, Your Honor, she seemed really distraught. She said that, "I don't know how it feels not to know who your child's father is, Your Honor. Whether it's my husband's child or not, out of the kindness of my heart, Your Honor, I understand that we all have shortcomings."
Just when you think it's bad enough, Miss Jackson drops another bomb. Miss Lipscomb might have had another boyfriend during all this. She even brings receipts, aka Facebook posts, to prove it.
Evidence.
This piece of evidence shows that she was also dealing with another man.
Your Honor.
Oh, but Mr. Jackson didn't just sign the birth certificate. He was at the hospital. He put this baby on his wife's military benefits too. Like, that's not a big deal. The audacity, off the charts. And you already know, Miss Jackson is not about to let that.
The baby is what? Anything for my placed child. On my benefits, Your Honor. I also have proof of that.
At this point, the whole courtroom is on edge as these two women go back and forth like it's the finals in a shouting competition. Miss Lipscomb says Miss Jackson, the moment everyone's been waiting for. The DNA test comes back, and boom.
When it comes to 1-month-old Keasia Jackson, Mr. Jackson, you are not the father.
This kicks off like a reality show where nobody's winning. Mr. Burridge says he's been played and wants his name off the birth certificate, plus his money back for childcare. Mrs. Stephanies is fed up, saying Burridge was a great dad until now. Things are already wild, but they're about to get wilder.
Mr. Barrage, you've dragged Miss Stephens to court because you say you're being played for a fool. And when today's DNA results prove that you are not her daughter, father, you demand that your name be removed from her birth certificate and you be reimbursed for the past 8 months of child care expenses.
Both had side flings. Welcome to the world's messiest love triangle. Burridge admits he had a girlfriend while seeing Miss Team Stephanies, who also had another guy. Miss Stephanie says Burridge knew what he was getting into, but things turned awkward real fast. If you thought this was messy, just wait, there's more.
I also had another woman on the side, and you had another guy on the side.
And I never knew it was a girlfriend. We were together every day since the first day we started hanging out.
No.
But when I sent you the pregnancy test and told you I was pregnant, you said, "What? I'm gonna be in her life. That's my child." You was there, you signed the birth certificate, cut the umbilical cord. I didn't force you to do anything. You chose to do that willingly because you felt obviously that she was your child.
That's like a soap opera crossed with a bad rom-com. Burridge claims he was trapped into this baby, saying she wanted him away from his girlfriend. Ms. Stephanie says he chose to be there because he liked how she treated her kids. The judge looks like she needs a lie detector test for this one. But hey, it's just getting started.
That's my child. I'm gonna be in his or her life. He's saying that I was just something to do, but that was never my impression. Me and Fernando, we was together all the time. It wasn't no one night stand. We was together consistently every day. I didn't think we were in a relationship, but I thought it was more because I knew that my intentions was to get more than what it was.
And you also said this to me, talking like you gonna try to take me away from my girl. You know what I'm saying? Trying to set me up, trying to trap me.
This is nosy neighbor heaven. Gossip galore. Burridge says neighbors told him Stephanie's was seeing half the block, making him question if the baby was his. He even points out the baby's complexion is too different. Ms. Stephanie's rolls her eyes like she's had enough of this nonsense. The judge starts piecing things together, but it only gets weirder.
I didn't know how many guys she slept with. Guys coming out the blue in the neighborhood while I stayed, just come out the blue. I hit that, I hit that.
And he's going off what other people saying. Ask him, does he know anything that's for sure? Not what people are saying.
Do you know for sure? Do you have any proof of this?
I have proof, Your Honor. For one, Your Honor, I don't have light blue, green, hazel eyes, Your Honor. So that's for one.
The other guy has light eyes.
Yes, Your Honor.
This part is either touching or hilarious. Barrage shares he didn't have a dad growing up and didn't want the same for Phelan, but now feels foolish. Ms. Stephanie says she thought Barrage was her ride or die, and now feels humiliated. Just when things seem settled, bam, a twist.
I really don't know who my father is, because my name ain't on the birth certificate other than what my mother tell me, but ain't no name on the birth certificate. On my generation, my close in that family all the way to like 1874. And like far as our genetic code, everybody, we got big eyes, big nose, big lip. That baby got light eyes, little nose.
From you, Mr. Barrage, she's my child. Also, she can have my genes.
Things just got crazier. Ms. Stephanie's reveals she's 5 months pregnant with Burridge's baby. Burridge says she trapped him again, while she insists otherwise. The judge looks like she could use a coffee break, and honestly, same. But the drama isn't over yet.
My biological mom wasn't in my life, nor my father. I didn't meet him till I was 12. And ain't no telling if that's my biological father. Why would I put my children? Phelan is my 5th child. I'm pregnant again by Mr. Barrage. And what, to go through the same thing? I'm 5 months pregnant as we speak now.
She trapped me, Your Honor. She trapped me with this one.
Things get awkward fast. Stephanie's admits she was with another guy, but says it ended before Phelan was conceived. Burridge isn't buying it, thinking he might not be the only possible dad. The audience practically yells at their TVs, trying to solve this like a crime drama. The tension here could power a whole city.
Have you ever had a sexual relationship with this other guy? So you have. What he's saying is you've had a sexual relationship with this guy. For some reason, you're still around him all the time.
Because
Unprotected sex, Your Honor.
Was it unprotected or protected sex?
Unprotected. When I met Mr. Barrage, that relationship, no, not at the same time.
It might be another man, baby.
Not
you know
at the
they got a
same
name
time.
for themselves.
This had everyone rolling their eyes. Burridge says Stephanie's put voodoo on him, earning a look from the judge like, really? The judge points out Burridge signed the birth certificate and played dad. Stephanie says she wanted more than just a fling, and now she feels tossed aside. Finally, the moment of truth is near.
Both of you have stood in court today and testified that you feel like fools.
Yes, Your Honor. A special type of food, though, Your Honor.
What kind?
She put some type of voodoo on me or something, Your Honor.
Acting like you don't care nothing about this girl. You are wasting my time. I'm trying to get to this paternity issue and you trying to act like you don't care nothing about this girl. Hit it and quit it girl that you don't care nothing about.
The DNA results are the grand finale.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Barrage, you are her father.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Lake kicks off Butterfield versus Bracknell Dallas, a messy paternity case about baby Kara. Butterfield claims he's the father, while Bracknell insists it's her fiancé Dallas. You can already feel the chaos brewing.
Mr. Butterfield, you've summoned your ex-girlfriend, Ms. Bracknell, to paternity court to prove that you are the father of her 2-month-old daughter, Kara. You say she's denying you are Kara's dad because she's worried her family will be torn apart when the results prove you are the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Butterfield says he and Bracknell planned for a baby, and during their breakup, she mentioned a gift. He wonders if that meant Kara feeling left out of her birth. The drama's just getting started.
Me and Mrs. Bracknell had a residence together for almost a year. We did try to have a baby together before. She had told me when we were breaking up, she said, "Thank you for the gift." And I said, "What gift was that?"
And then when you found that out, you thought to yourself, was that the gift?
The baby?
Yeah, you thought
My daughter, yes.
Bracknell says she found out about the pregnancy months after leaving Butterfield. She thinks the baby looks like her other kids with Dallas, but Dallas is ready to present some evidence next.
When did you find out you were pregnant?
Honestly, I didn't find out until, I'd say 3 months after I did move out of his house. I was having irregular periods, so I just let it go for a minute. I'm not really a doctor person.
So what you're saying is when this relationship ended, you didn't know you were pregnant?
No.
But once you found out you were pregnant...
How could you not? You're not having periods.
Dallas brings out a calendar, claiming Bracknell moved in with him when Kara was conceived. Butterfield claps back, insisting he was still seeing her. The mystery deepens.
So this calendar calendar outlines the date when the relationship with Mr. Butterfield and Ms. Bracknell. Cara was conceived in mid-September, and she was born in June. And she ended the relationship with Mr. Butterfield at the end of August. There's no way Mr. Butterfield is Cara's biological father.
Yes, ma'am. Dallas declares Cara his daughter, no matter the DNA results. Butterfield insists he'll step in if she's his. The room is tense, with emotions ready to burst.
Have you ever considered how you would react if, in fact, Cara is not your biological child?
You know what, Shona? I'm gonna love her the same. She's gonna be my little daughter. I'm gonna raise her my life. Nothing's gonna change. I love her to death, just like I do now. He's actually made our family stronger.
That's good. I'm not trying to get her back. I'm just trying to be in my daughter's life.
No, you just have a...
Butterfield found out about Cara via a Facebook post with someone else holding her. He accuses Bracknell of hiding it, but she denies it. The back and forth doesn't seem to end.
The only time that I actually ever found out that you guys were even pregnant, that's a Facebook post that they posted on that the baby was even. That's before I even knew.
It says, this little girl is ready.
Yep, that little girl is ready right there. And then I also, the only thing I got was a text message from of a friend saying of her sister holding my daughter.
Butterfield accuses Bracknell of cheating and even leaving him on his birthday. She denies everything. The tension rises as they prepare for the next round of accusations.
She cheated on me on my birthday.
I did not cheat on you.
She was gone with her ex on my birthday, and then come crawling back after that.
She was gone with Mr. Dallas or somebody else?
Somebody else. There could be more than one person that she's been with.
It's not true, Your Honor.
I've when I found out about it, I messaged her mom, let him know I was coming. I blocked, obviously, on their
That you were
Facebook.
coming? Let's explain that text message.
You guys even got together.
Butterfield insists Cara is his, pointing out physical similarities. Bracknell counters, saying Cara resembles Dallas and her other kids. Everyone's waiting for the DNA test to decide.
She looks more like me. Even her own family says it. They look like me. She's got my nose, she's got my lips, she's got my brown hair. All her boys are blonde.
Yep, and they've gone brown the older they get.
Exactly.
So you are convinced, Mr. Butterfield, this is your daughter?
Oh, I'm 100% convinced.
Judge Lake asks if Dallas would stay if Cara isn't his, and he says yes without hesitation. His devotion is clear, but the DNA results will soon shake everyone.
So therefore, if in fact Cara is not your biological child, will you be able to continue this relationship?
Oh, yeah.
You will?
Yep.
Okay. It has been determined by this court, Mr. Butterfield.
What did I tell you?
I was never able to buy 2 pair of Nikes, 2 cell phones, 2 this, 2 this, you know.
You didn't buy anything.
Well, okay, So now I get punished because I'm not money worthy, to keep them happy. Keep them happy. I'm cooking them dinner every day. I'm making sure they come home and do their homework, but that's not good enough.
Now, granted, have I been with all 3 of these men? Yes. How do you know there's only these 3 men? Because I gave them these 3 men's name. This is my truth. Here it is. It's ugly. Now I'm trying to get to the bottom of it.
Exactly.
None of us will be here. None of us had multiple sex partners, bro. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. How many sins you got, bro? We're here for hours.
Imagine finding out you might have a second dad after 30 years. Bananas, right? Ms. Miller drags Mr. White to court to prove he isn't her dad, while Mr. Wright waits in the hallway. Get ready. This is a real-life soap opera.
Ms. Miller, you've summoned the defendant, Mr. White. Prove to him that he is not your biological father, even though he has believed he's your father your entire life. The man you now say is your father is waiting in the hallway. Mr. White, it was only 2 weeks ago that your daughter revealed to you that you may not be her father.
Ms. Miller's mom once casually admitted, "I don't know who your dad is," and she's been juggling 2 dads ever since. Instead of choosing, Ms. Miller called both dad. Spoiler, this wasn't gonna stay secret forever.
I was raised around both men, but mainly around Mr. Wright. I spent most time with Mr. Wright. I used to go over to his house twice out the month, and I hardly spent any time with Mr. White. Up until the age of me being a teenager, I called both of them dad. My mom, her back was turned to me, and she said, "I don't know who your dad is."
2 weeks ago, Ms. Miller dropped the truth bomb on both dads. It took guts, considering neither had a clue about the other. Their reaction? Let's just say, it gets real awkward from here.
What happened 2 weeks ago?
Like I said before, I felt selfish because I didn't tell. I had to build up the nerve to actually call them. I addressed both of them. "Hey, Dad." Took a deep breath and I was like, "I want you to prove that you're my dad." And I asked him again, I was like, I really want to know because I don't know. And then I said, my mom told me that she doesn't really know who my father is.
Mr. White isn't thrilled to find out there's another dad in the mix. He's like, "Excuse me, 30 years and now this?" He's mad, sad, and totally thrown off. But he's about to meet his competition.
Mr. White, Ms. Miller's 30 years old. You weren't aware all of these years that she was calling another man dad as well?
Nope, I don't even know who he is. When I got that phone call, I was wondering, where would you get this from out of 30 years? If she can find out that I'm not her father out of 30 years, somebody could have told me.
Growing up, Ms. Miller's mom made sure the dads never met. It was exhausting. One visit here, one there, and no mentioning either. As a kid, Ms. Miller just rolled with it, but secrets like this take their toll.
I go over here, I don't mention this dad. I go over there, I don't mention
And
this
you knew
dad.
that as a child?
Yes, it was unwritten. It's like a habit you pick up. Like once you see, I saw my mom talking to one, you were forbidden to say the other's name. So what I did as a child was just picked up on what I saw.
Father's Day must have been awkward with two dads. Ms. Miller spent more time with Mr. Wright and didn't even have Mr. White's number. Now she feels bad, but back then, she couldn't handle the drama.
Well, on Father's Day, I never really had Mr. White's number like that. I didn't call him all the time, and he never had my number. I do want to apologize to Mr. White because I knew exactly where he was for so long. I just kept telling myself, you know, Mr. Wright is my father. I hid from it.
Yeah, Mr. Wright walks in looking like he's about to hear the plot twist of his life. He learns there's another dad, keeps his cool, for now. He's called Ms. Miller his girl since she was a baby.
You do realize at this point, Mr. Wright, that Mr. White, he is Ms. Miller's biological father.
I'm her father. I've been in her life for 30 years.
See, that's the thing. I feel like I've been living a double life because I don't even have like social sites now. Because if I do like family barbecues, which I spend a lot of time with Mr. Wright's side of the family.
This part is like that Spider-Man meme. Everyone's pointing and saying, wait, she looks like you. Photos come out, but Judge Lake says science will decide as we all wait for the DNA reveal.
This is a photo of Ms. Miller
Yes, ma'am.
and your mother. You see the resemblance too, Ms.
Yes,
Miller.
Your
you
Honor,
do.
everything. I see it all.
When you look at that, Mr. White, do you see a resemblance?
Yeah, I do.
Because you said you also feel like you look like Mr. White.
Oh, wow, I never seen it side by side like that.
Both dads brace for the DNA results.
It has been determined by this court. Ms. Miller's biological father is Mr. White.
Buckle up, this story is already wild. Ms. Ames grew up thinking one guy was her dad, but another just showed up saying, nope, I'm the real one. Mr. Garcia wants a DNA test, while Mr. Patine says, I paid $40,000 raising her, so hold up.
Mr. Garcia, you say you searched for your daughter for more than 25 years. You say the DNA results will prove to Mr. Patton that Ms. Ames is your daughter. You state that after raising your daughter and paying more than $40,000 in child support, you were informed that Mr. Garcia was claiming Ms. Ames is his daughter.
Facebook brings back old high school friends and surprise long-lost dads. Mr. Garcia found Ms. Ames online, and they met up, leaving her wondering if this was her real dad. But wait, there's more. We're about to dig into some family secrets.
And a year ago, I was in Jersey visiting my family, and I was really looking for her on Facebook, wanting to find her so we can reconnect. Because I always called and always asked about her, and I was really looking for her heavy. We found each other on Facebook last year, and we met at my mother's house and reunited, and we started talking from there.
Ms. Ames didn't know she might have another dad until she was 21. Her mom never mentioned it before she passed, and a random relative just casually dropped the bomb later. She finally found Mr. Garcia after seeing his picture online and thinking, whoa, I totally look like this guy.
Like I needed some resolution to it. Take you back. My mother died when I was 13 years old. When I was 21 years old, another relative of mine decided to tell me, well, there's a possibility that your dad isn't your dad, that another man is your father. The name that they gave me, I searched for years. I couldn't find him.
When they met, it was emotional but awkward, kind of like a viral reunion video. They even visited her mom's grave together, which was both sweet and sad. Mr. Garcia stayed longer just to meet her daughter, and then things got even more intense.
There was an instant connection between the two of us. Instantly, we went out to my mother's graveyard because he didn't know anything of my mother passing because he was so far away. He was supposed to go back to Florida. He stayed an extra 2 weeks because he wanted to meet my daughter. I'm torn. I have 2 kids, and I want my kids to know who their grandparents are.
Plot twist. Mr. Patton isn't stepping aside easily. He's like, I was there since day one, rocked this kid to sleep, and paid $40,000 in child support. Even the judge was impressed, but Mr. Garcia is just getting started.
You feel like you're 100% certain you're her father.
Yes, I was there for her at birth. When she was born, I used to rock her to sleep in my knees. I stayed with her family, or I stayed with them for like 10 years, working and taking care of my responsibility, which was her.
You were responsible for child support for how many years?
18.
18 years you paid it.
Yes.
Mr. Garcia's determination is honestly impressive. He spent years searching for Ms. Ames, even before Facebook made it easy. His sister helped him track her down, and now Ms. Ames is opening up about how she feels about both dads.
Your Honor, before social media, when I would call New Jersey and talk to my family, I always trying to find her. So it's not just started. I always had that passion that she was my daughter, to know that for sure myself. Because I was in New Jersey and I wouldn't find her while I was there before I went back to Florida. So I wanted to make sure we made a connection. And I was on Facebook heavy, trying to make connection with her.
Things are getting complicated. Ms. Ames feels like both men are her dad. She's building a bond with Mr. Garcia, but also appreciates everything Mr. Patin did for her. Plus, she's like, I need answers. I don't want my kids accidentally dating their cousins.
They're both my dad, but I'll work on building a relationship with Mr. Garcia because if he is my dad, we need that relationship. My kids need that relationship, but my kids will always know Mr. Patton as their grandpa as well. It's the way it'll be, period.
Ms. Ames isn't holding back. My parents should have sorted this 30 years ago. She wants answers for her kids' sake, and the judge totally agrees. But now, it's the big moment. The DNA results are in.
I feel like I'm torn in between because deep down inside, I need to know. I need the answers, and I can't speculate on what my parents did. This is something they should have figured out 30 years ago.
You are most certainly correct.
I can't say what they did and what they didn't do because I was a child.
The courtroom goes dead quiet as the results come in.
It has been determined by this court. Her biological father is Mr. Garcia.
Miss Curtis drags her mom, Miss Hall, to court because she's been lied to for 14 years about her dad. Turns out her mom let her believe some other guy was her dad, even though he wasn't. Oh, and there's a mystery dude outside who might be her real dad. This is already a mess.
Miss Curtis, you have brought your mother, Miss Hall, to court today because you say she hid the identity of your father from you for 14 years. There's a man waiting outside of the courtroom that your mother believes could be your biological father, yet you still have no idea that's the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Grandma spills the family secret when Miss Curtis was 14, revealing the guy she thought was her dad wasn't. Miss Curtis had to keep it quiet until her mom confessed. She always felt out of place, like she was adopted or something.
My grandmother, she sat me down and she said that she wanted to tell me the truth about who my father really is to be and that my mother has been lying to me for the past years of my life, which was time was 14 years old. And I said, okay. I felt that it was the truth because I always felt like I was adopted. My father, he really never really showed me the affection, the love at all.
Mom's story is like a teenage soap opera. She got pregnant at 15, thought the dad was some guy named Kirk, but then started seeing someone else. She admits she didn't know what was happening with her body. Like, she thought she wasn't pregnant because she got her period once. Total chaos.
I did not tell my daughter a young age about who her father was. Simply one, because I was a young girl. I was pregnant at the age of 15. I gave birth to her when I was 16 years old. Kirk lived pretty much like a fast lifestyle, you know, which attract to him. And being young, I didn't even know that I was pregnant because I didn't know anything about the body.
You didn't know what it meant? You were just so young?
Yes.
Miss Curtis confronts her mom, asking why she waited until she was 16 to come clean. Miss Hall says she was focused on being a good mom, but Miss Curtis isn't buying it. She talks about missing moments like father-daughter dances, and she's clearly hurt.
I knew one day that I would have to sit real down and talk to her and let her know who her father is. The time that I set forth for her was at the age of 16.
But what if something was supposed to happen to me in between the time?
I was the mother. I was the one who took care of you. To me, because I was the mother, I was the one that was supporting you, keeping a roof over your head, and making sure that you went to school and you got the education that you needed.
Miss Curtis hears about Mr. Whitaker from Family Gossip and writes to him in prison. Her mom didn't want to send the letter, but someone else did. Mr. Whitaker writes back, and his letter changes everything. The judge reads it, and it's a big deal.
The same night that me and my nana, we had the discussion and we found out where he was, then I started to write him letters and everything.
Where he was in prison. I wrote a letter to Kirk in the prison telling him the things that was going on. I was kind of nervous after I got to writing the letter, so I took the letter and I hid it at my mother's house.
Mr. Whitaker says he's ready to be the dad Miss Curtis deserves. Miss Hall looks awkward because this blows her plan. She's mad that things aren't on her terms. Come on, it's never perfect timing.
This is the first time she'll ever see the letter.
He does state he's willing to be the father she needs and deserves, and it's signed Kurt.
I know you may not understand how I feel about this right here. That's where I feel like I was deceived and crossed. I had my time that I had set aside to do the right thing.
She
and
wants me to be like, I'm the bad person regardless.
Mr. Whitaker isn't sure he's the dad because Miss Hall was seeing someone else back then. Plus, he says he was living a fast lifestyle. Lots of money, lots of women, no clue what was happening. His doubts are understandable, but Miss Curtis is frustrated.
I'm actually somewhat doubtful, and having said that is because the way the situation went down. When Tamika initially told me, hey, I'm pregnant, you're the father. But as I remember, she was also in a relationship with someone else. That was actually convenient for me, being that I was with somebody. I'll take my part, hey.
Miss Curtis says Mr. Whitaker let her down after all his promises while he was in prison. When he got out, he spent time with her mom instead of her. She feels abandoned, and now it's all leading up to the DNA results.
He wanted to know little things about me so he can get to know me through the letters. Promised me when he come home, he'll do things for me that he's never done. When he got home, he didn't do none of that, and he still haven't done none of that. I was trying to help him get out of the halfway house so he can come home and spend time with me. He want to break everything that he said, spend less time with me so he can be with her.
Mr. Whitaker points out Miss Curtis was given another guy's last name, which confuses him. Why not my name if I'm the dad? Fair point, but the DNA test is about to end this mystery.
Do you believe this is your daughter?
I believe it could be my daughter. How can I say when she was messing with other men and you give someone else another man's name?
I think it's time we have the results.
The judge reads the DNA results.
When it comes to 22-year-old Abrell Curtis, Mr. Whitaker, you are her father.
The Eggleston twins are here because their dad just dropped a bombshell. He's not their biological father. He claims he's doing this for financial reasons, and the sisters aren't buying it. Buckle up, because the drama is just getting started.
You and your identical twin sister state that the man who raised you recently shocked you when he announced that he is not your biological father. You've petitioned the court for a paternity test because you believe finances are motivating your alleged father's claims. Your statement to the court counters that you know for sure the plaintiff's father is a white man and you are not.
Mr. Eggleston admits he always doubted he was their dad because of some shady stuff their mom did. But he chose to raise them anyway, kinda. His story is confusing, but hang tight. It's only going to get weirder.
Knowing from the start, I knew they wasn't mine, but something overcame me that...
You knew their mother?
Yes, I did. I was coming home one day and she was in the backyard barbecuing, and I noticed this big, beautiful smile, big breasts.
Notice those, huh?
Yeah, and the big cheeseburgers on the grill.
The twins say Mr. Eggleston didn't really act like a dad. No new shoes, no structure, no allowance. After their mom died, they think he only took them in for money. It's rough, and you can't help but wonder if anyone's okay.
I was never able to buy 2 pair of Nikes, 2 cell phones, 2 this, 2 this.
You didn't buy anything.
Okay. So now I get punished because I'm not money worthy. To keep them happy. If I cherish them with money, it'd be a whole new different ballgame. Cooking them dinner every day. I'm making sure they come home, do their homework, but that's not good enough.
A cousin shows up, claiming their mom had a sugar daddy, a white guy who might be the twins' real dad. It's just more chaos on top of chaos. And at this point, you're wondering if there's any end to this drama.
But he's talking about a white man that actually, I don't know how to word it, but I want to say he was like her job. He didn't care if she was pregnant. He would have sent her money just because that's what they do. That was his purpose of being there. She didn't just call one. He sent money often. Exactly. Before she got pregnant, he was sending money.
The twins share how Mr. Eggleston's doubts made them feel like he didn't belong. They even found his secret journal about not knowing if he was their dad, but deciding to stick around. It's a mix of laughter and tears, and things are getting heavy.
We found a journal of his, and basically, I understand that this is something that he been fighting with himself, and it's starting to hit him, so it's like...
So then that makes us figure, okay, then now we understand why you treated us like we was always
the stepchildren. You know, he was in detail saying they came out and I seen them. So something came over my body saying, I'm gonna be in these kids' life. They're gonna need me one day.
The judge reads the DNA results, and guess what?
When it comes to whether Mr. Rodney Eggleston is the father of Antonia and Rodnea Eggleston, Mr. Eggleston, you are their father.
I told you!
This starts like a soap opera on fast forward. Mr. Rich is mad, yelling about lies, and Ms. Holman is trying to defend herself while Judge Lake tries to keep order. It's already super dramatic, but trust me, this is just the warm-up.
Mr. Rich,
Go back up.
you came here to get an answer.
I have not called him lately.
I don't care, man. That was a nice speech, but that's all it was, a speech. If Leanne could have had it her way, and now one of us know.
At the end of the day, you're a liar. I've been telling you this since I was pregnant. I've been telling you I need a DNA test since I was pregnant.
Judge Lake talks to Ms. Holman like a tough but caring aunt, calling out her mistakes while reminding her she can do better. The vibe gets serious fast, and you can tell Ms. Holman is feeling it. But don't get too relaxed. Things are about to get messy again.
You've admitted to where you've gone wrong, and you've also allowed us to see a little piece of what your real heart is. You think we don't know you are confused and just out there riding on a wing and a prayer? I'm here with you and for you.
Just when it seems like things might calm down, Ms. Holman drops the bomb that there are other possible dads. Mr. Matthews enters, and it's like a reality show reunion with side-eye galore. If one dad wasn't enough drama, now we've got a whole crew.
Can you tell me about these other possible fathers?
Well, just like with Mr. Rich, I told him I didn't remember whether we were together around the time of September, which was around his birthday time. Mr. Matthews is the same thing. The only difference with this is Mr. Rich knew about him. Mr. Rich did not know about Matthews.
Mr. Matthews shows up cool and admits he could be the dad, casually mentioning he went to doctor appointments with Ms. Holman. This makes the other guys mad. It's got "I was there for her" vibes, but Mr. Matthews seems unsure himself. The drama is real, and it's only getting juicier.
You've had an ongoing sexual relationship with Ms. Holman for the past 4 years?
Yes, ma'am. And I was taking her to a couple of her doctor's appointment for the baby.
Do you want to be her biological father?
I mean, if I am, I'll accept it as my own, because I don't think our friendship will never end.
So you also are in love with Ms. Holman?
To a certain extent, yeah.
Ms. Holman admits she was with all 3 guys, and it's awkward but honest. Judge Lake appreciates her honesty, but you can see the guys are furious. The tension is thick, but you know the real bombshell is coming with the DNA results.
Now, granted, have I been with all 3 of these men? Yes. How do you know there's only these 3 men? Because I gave them these 3 men names. This is my truth. Here it is. It's ugly. Now I'm trying to get to the bottom of it.
Exactly.
None of them would be here if you were sure.
None of us would be here. None of us had multiple sex partners, bro. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. How many sins you got, bro? We're here for hours.
Judge Lake gives Ms. Holman a pep talk, telling her she's still worth it, despite her mistakes. It's wholesome and a bit like a motivational video. Then you remember, the DNA results are next, and it's about to get intense.
Every day we wake up and we have to remind ourselves, you worth it. I slept with this guy on Thursday, you still worth it. I slept with this guy on Friday, you still worth it. I came up short over here, you're still worth it. You hear me?
Finally, the DNA answers come.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Drumgold, you are the father.
Exactly.
This is straight up bananas. Imagine finding out at 10 years old that your dad isn't actually your dad. That's exactly what happened to Ms. Manship, who then spent 20 years trying to track down her real father.
Ms. Manship, at the age of 10, you were shocked and devastated to learn that your dad was not your biological father. That began your 20-year search to find the man your mother claims is your father. After your exhaustive search, find him, you came up with nothing.
Can you even imagine looking for someone with nothing but a name and one old photo? That's exactly what Ms. Manship did after her mom told her who her real dad was, armed with just that tiny bit of info.
She sat me down. She had one picture. This is the one picture that she gave me that I've had for the past 20 years. I just look at it. She says, this is who your father is. He was the only other person I was with. He's the only one that it could be. We had a place where we hung out when we were younger, and I would stop a police officer and I'd say, how do you go about searching for somebody?
She hit up old school Yahoo chat rooms. Yep, back in the day, people searches, and even asked random people in Arkansas if they knew her dad. She was basically a one-woman detective agency, but with zero luck, making you wonder if this mystery would ever get solved.
I would go do people searches online. Back whenever they had like the Yahoo chat rooms, the state that she told me he was from, which was Little Rock, Arkansas, I would go in there and I'd mention his name, say, you know, does anybody know this man? I believe he is my father, and nobody ever had any information they could give me. We even went back to where
all you had to go on was this photo you
the one picture and the one name.
Imagine sitting down one day and boom, someone tells you might have a kid you didn't even know about. Mind-blowing, right? That's what happened to Mr. Lau, who admitted he'd never heard of Ms. Manship until the court contacted him. The dude was totally blindsided, and emotions were flying all over the place.
When is the first time you heard about her?
When the court contacted me just recently.
You never knew she existed.
No, Your Honor.
But you did have a relationship with Ms. Lutman.
Yes, Your Honor.
You remember that. This you in this photo.
Yes, Your Honor.
So we know we at least have the right Mr. Loup.
Ms. Manship tells him how hard she looked for him for decades. And honestly, you'd need tissues for this moment. You can't help but feel the suspense as everyone's bracing for how this roller coaster will end.
Since my early teens, I've searched everywhere. I've searched online, I've asked people, and I've never had a response from anybody in the past 20 years. Nobody has ever given me even a single detail of where he's from or where he lives, if he has any family. I don't know anything.
And you've never gotten one lead?
Not one.
Talk about drama. Turns out there was a wild love triangle back in the day, with jealous exes and even some property damage. Mr. Loup shares how he dated. Ms. Lutman moved in with her and had to deal with her angry ex-boyfriend burning his clothes in a fireplace.
Shortly after that, maybe after a couple of months, we had rented an apartment. I knew
Were you boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yes, Your Honor. And I believe she had she had told me she had 3 kids and that she was about 12 years older than I was, about her ex-boyfriend not being happy about it. We kept it amicable, and then at one point in time, I'm not sure how it happened, but he had burned all my clothes up in the fireplace.
Really?
Ms. Lutman then explains how she got back together with her ex, thought he was the baby's father, and basically just went along with it for years. It's messy, it's dramatic, and you can't look away as you wait to see if this chaos leads to the truth.
Me and my ex got back together. About a month later, I started getting symptoms of getting pregnant. And I was with my ex, so I figured it was my ex's baby. So we just hemorrhaged all the way up until I had her.
When you found out you were pregnant, you thought it was your ex's child?
I just figured it was my ex's because I'd be a month later, I'd be with him.
Okay, this guy thought he couldn't even have kids. He literally said he was shooting blanks. Mr. Loup explains how he's been married multiple times, never had kids, and didn't think he could possibly be anyone's dad.
Did you initially believe this could be your daughter?
I didn't believe it. I figured it probably was a mistake, mainly because the fact that she knew quite a few people. She had a lot of male friends and been married 4 times. First marriage was 12 years and I didn't have any children. Second marriage was 2 years, still no children.
Meanwhile, Ms. Manship gets emotional, sharing how she believed so strongly that he was her dad that she even named her son after him. At this point, the suspense is through the roof, and you can practically hear everyone holding their breath for what's next.
I'm just hoping that everything I've been told is true, because if it is, I'm the only one out there he has. So I've believed that he's been my father so long that I actually named my youngest son after him.
You did?
I did.
This is the moment everyone's been waiting for. Drum roll, please.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Loup, you are the father.
A break for us is I'm leaving out the house, I'm gonna go to my parents' house for a while, or you leave and you go with your mom or something.
No, that's
like
not
that.
a break.
That was a break between us, and we were always back together within a month's time. There's no excuse. A break is not an excuse to go sleep with someone and have a child by someone else at all.
How in the world do you think you making babies in this world and don't have a job? Who's supposed to take care of them? Me? How do you think you cannot have a job?
What?
What?
I couldn't hear you.
It's called excuse me, ma'am. See, we're gonna get it right in here today. I don't know who's teaching you, but I'm gonna give you a lesson.
I'm teaching them.
When I say something, answer's not what.
Okay.
You didn't teach them correctly.
Ms. Nichols says Mr. Young denies being her 13-month-old daughter's dad. Mr. Young insists she was pregnant before they met. The awkward finger-pointing begins, and it only gets messier.
Ms. Nichols, you've dragged the defendant, Mr. Young, to court today because you say he denies he's the father of your 13-month-old daughter, Sine. You say it's time for him to step up and take responsibility. You say you refuse to accept Sine because you claim that Ms. Nichols was already pregnant when you began your relationship.
Ms. Nichols says she left Mr. Young because he cheated, while Mr. Young says she practically moved in after a Facebook chat. Their stories are worlds apart, and the drama is just getting started.
He actually started denying her when I moved out of his house because he was cheating. I've known Mr. Young for 19 years. We met when we were 15 years old, and when I met him again on Facebook, we automatically moved in together.
We didn't automatically move in. She hit me up on Facebook, talking about because she'd been trying to find me. Came over, she was still on the same thing she was when I first met her, trying to get back.
Mr. Mr. Young claims Ms. Nichols had a sugar daddy paying her bills. She admits he helped but denies anything more. This sugar daddy gave rides, meals, and cash, which only makes this mess even crazier.
And who is this man?
He's a friend of mine.
Do you have sex with him?
No, I do not.
You don't have
How
sex?
old is he?
73.
Whoa. He calls him your sugar daddy. What does he do for you?
Any and everything I ask him to. Since he wants to go there, he had no problem with this man when we were hungry, and I would call him and he would bring us something to eat. You know, anything I called and asked this man for, he would come.
The court tries to sort out the pregnancy timeline, but Mr. Young says the dates don't add up. Ms. Nichols says the baby was born early, but Mr. Young's not buying it. Tensions rise just in time for the lie detector results.
Do you remember the night you believe you conceived?
I say around the middle of November, around the 15th, give or take.
This conception date, your due date would be approximately August 12th, 2015. And when was Sine born?
May 28th. She was 11 weeks early, Your Honor.
This leads you to believe this is not your biological child.
Then this just didn't really just add up to me. It was dark and...
It says Ms. Nichols was truthful about not sleeping with anyone else, but she lied about her sugar daddy. Mr. Young jumps on this as proof, just as birth certificate drama heats up next.
When we asked you if once you began a sexual relationship, did you have sexual intercourse with anyone else, you said yes.
Wow.
And the lie detector determined you were being truthful.
Mr. Young says he never signed the birth certificate, but the court shows it with his name on it. There's even a photo of him cuddling the baby at the hospital. Just when you think it can't get more dramatic, the DNA results come in.
So you say you didn't sign this birth certificate?
I don't recall signing nothing, ma'am.
Did he go to the hospital?
Yes, he was there. That's him while she was still in the hospital.
That's a beautiful picture. You don't look like you have doubt in that picture.
Your Honor, her attitude and the way she treats me, bogus. That's why I want to make sure that I'm taking care of a child that's mine.
Mr. Young, you are her father.
And surprise.
This wild case kicks off with Benning vs. Bodine. Mr. Benning suspects he isn't the father after his partner's affair, but Ms. Bodine insists he is. Get ready, things are about to get heated.
Mr. Benning, you recently appeared in couples court and it was confirmed that the defendant cheated on you. This infidelity has caused questions regarding your 2-year-old daughter, Robin, and 6-month-old son, Jermaine Jr.'s paternity. Although you are hopeful that both are your children.
Mr. Benning talks about his deep bond with his daughter, Robin. He dreamed of having a daughter after losing his mom, and Robin was his dream come true. But knowing what's coming next makes this feel like the calm before the storm.
First off, Your Honor, my mother passed away when I was 14 years old. She was my best friend. We spent every waking moment together. After she died, it, left me hurt. I always wanted a daughter, and I promised I was going to take care of her and treat her like my mother took care of me.
Oh, that's
so
wonderful.
I've always stuck by with that.
So having a daughter has been so important to you.
So important. I waited first.
While Ms. Bodine was giving birth, Mr. Benning got a text saying someone else was the father. Despite the shock, he signed the birth certificate and stayed calm. His loyalty in that moment is impressive, but things are about to unravel.
It actually happened during labor, Your Honor. I was in the hospital sitting across from Kayla as she was pushing this baby out, and I received a text from a guy telling me to leave the hospital because that's his baby and he needs to be there.
What?
I am in labor, like literally in the hospital, and I received a text telling me that the child that I'm waiting to come isn't mine.
Ms. Bodine had already tested another possible father, and it came back negative. Mr. Benning isn't reassured, wondering if there are more possibilities.
How do you know this other guy is not the biological father?
Because, Your Honor, I stood up, did the woman and the mother thing I had to do, and got the other guy tested.
Oh.
And he wasn't the father.
And you submitted those results to the court?
Yes, I did.
That the probability of paternity between you and this other guy is 0%.
Yes.
The tension keeps building. Mr. Benning talks about how hard it is to raise Robin while doubting she's his. He describes the pain of people claiming to be her dad. Just when it's almost too much, the DNA results come in.
Stan, what does that feel like when she says that to you, Mr. Benning?
That little girl right there is my mother come back to be with me.
And
when
she
you tell me
looks
that,
like your
when you tell
mother.
me
She's
she's
her
not mine, it feels like you're taking my mother away from me again.
Look at them. Look, they're twins.
She's beautiful.
They are.
They do look a lot alike.
The results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Benning, you are not the father.
What the?
Miss McCrary says Mr. Goodson hasn't done anything for their 18-month-old daughter, Arian. He denies being the father and doesn't think he belongs there. Drama's about to heat up, and it gets spicy real quick.
Ms. McCrary, you have petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that the defendant is the father of your miracle baby, 18-month-old Arian McCrary.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim Mr. Goodson has done nothing for your daughter, but today that's going to change.
Miss McCrary vents about Mr. Goodson barely being around for their daughter. She gets emotional about having her first child and how much Arian means to her. This story is full of layers, and it's about to get deeper.
He has been to a certain extent. One hand, how many times?
One hand in 17 months, you can count?
Yes, Your Honor, and counting.
And when you see her?
That's my miracle baby. You know, conceived. You know, when you're in a relationship with a man for so many years, you know, you having unprotected sex, you're trying to get pregnant, things of that nature, it doesn't happen. You think you can't get pregnant.
Miss McCrary claims Mr. Goodson ignored her and their baby when she saw him with his other family. He denies it, saying he didn't see the child. It's a heated back and forth, and neither is backing down.
Did you walk past Arian in the store and not even acknowledge her at all?
That's not true. We actually seen each other at the same time. She was coming, and I was going toward the checkout. She was going, I guess she was going to get an item or something. And we never said, I didn't even know that Arian was with her. Yes,
But you are not acknowledging that you are the father of this beautiful baby.
Mr. Goodson says their relationship started casually, but then caught feelings. He accuses Miss McCrary of being secretive with her phone. This fling is getting messy, and the drama is just beginning.
Every time we got together, it was like her phone used to ring a lot, and she come over there. You know, we stayed on two different sides of town. She'll come over there probably a day or two, and I might not hear from her, a couple more days after that, or whenever she's around. Her phone is just constantly going off, and she was always secretive about it. So
what was the nature of this?
It was friends hanging out, and
Miss McCrary reveals Mr. Goodson was still married when they were together. Judge Lake reminds everyone that separated isn't divorced. The situation is wild, and it only gets crazier.
You wanted to make things a little more serious. How serious could it get when you already had another person?
Well, we was married but separated, and she was just like, nah, that's not what I want right now. And this, so
But do you blame her maybe being a little nervous because even though you were separated, you were still married? And I always say a man is married until he is divorced.
Okay.
It's just, that's the way it is.
Miss McCrary vividly describes the night she thinks she got pregnant, complete with a stop at American Deli. She talks about their unprotected fun and how sure she is about the timing. Just when you think that's enough, the details keep coming.
He picked me up that night from work, July the 10th. If I'm not mistaken, we got American Deli, okay? He likes to eat. I like to eat. Not a problem. Extra chicken, extra cheese, sub sandwich. When you're grown, you're nasty, you get in tune. I like the things he do to me, vice versa. We enjoy each other. Why not? We're grown. We hadn't had protected sex, so come on. At the end of the day.
Miss McCrary says Mr. Goodson initially promised to support her, but then backed out. He now questions why she even called him, claiming they hadn't been intimate for months. The tension keeps rising, and the arguments are about to explode.
What happens when you find out you're pregnant?
Well, of course, I told family members they were up for my decision, and I had to just sit and, think about it. So when I told him, he was just up for it. I rub your stomach, take you to doctor's appointment. I just felt like, oh, okay, well, maybe he heard from me. Got me thinking that, it's gonna be all okay. It was not all okay. I didn't want to be by myself.
Mr. Goodson claims Miss McCrary admitted to being with someone else during the pregnancy. He's skeptical due to a previous false paternity claim. The drama keeps escalating with no end in sight.
Thought about it because as a woman, you said a real woman shouldn't have sex with other men, but at the end of the day, when you go back to your dates, a real woman know who she having sex with. When I told him my date and I went back and told him when it happened, why, what we was doing, it could be a possibility. Oh yeah.
Mr. Goodson admits he visited the hospital after the birth, but didn't sign the certificate because of doubts. Miss McCrary argues he should have stepped up anyway. Now, DNA results are coming, and the truth is about to be revealed.
Did you sign the birth certificate for Arian?
No, I did not. I just didn't want to tie myself to that responsibility until I knew that she was mine.
It takes two, Your Honor. You come with chump change. Don't do that. You help me. If I have something I don't have, I'm gonna tell you what I have. You can't even foot a half bill. And then, come on now, you saying that I bailed out on you. Make it make sense, baby.
Judge Lake reveals the DNA results.
Has been determined by this court. Mr. Goodson, you are the father.
Oh, okay.
Judge Lake opens Thomas v. Zachary, with Mr. Thomas wanting a DNA test for 15-month-old Hannah. He says he was tricked into signing the birth certificate and now faces child support. Miss Zachary insists he's the dad and should step up.
Mr. Thomas, you claim you've been petitioning the court system for a DNA test for 15-month-old Hannah Thomas for more than a year now. Now, you've been notified that you will be paying because you signed the birth certificate, but claim it was under false pretenses.
The relationship timeline is a roller coaster. Breakups, reunions, and a surprise pregnancy. Mr. Thomas thought the baby was his until doubts crept in. Now he questions everything, and it's about to get intense.
Your Honor, me and Rakaya were separated towards July, maybe for a couple weeks. August, we got back together, towards the end of August, beginning of September, she told me I feel pregnant. And we went to buy like maybe 4 or 5 pregnancy tests that day.
Your Honor, I found out that I was pregnant September 18th, to be exact with you. I went to that doctor's appointment and I came home. I handed him the papers. This is my results at the doctor. This is my proof of pregnancy.
Mr. Thomas claims the pregnancy timeline is way off from what he expected. He believes Miss Zachary lied, but she says she was carrying twins, which changed things. More drama follows as they revisit their break.
First time ever having twin children, and I didn't know at the time that I was even carrying twins.
We went to the doctor, maybe probably was about 3 or 4 weeks later, and the doctor was telling her, yeah, you need to stop smoking cigarettes. Telling me like, look, you need to be honest about smoking cigarettes. Here's her paperwork. And he showed me the paperwork, and it said 15 or 17 weeks or something like that. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute, y'all.
No.
Miss Zachary admits seeing someone else during their break, but still claims Mr. Thomas is the dad. He's not buying it and questions her actions. Their arguments escalate, making the courtroom feel tense.
I had been on a break over a month and a half when I was with the other guy in July.
A break for us is I'm leaving out the house, I'm gonna go to my parents' house for a while, or you leave and you go with your mom or something.
No, that's
like
not
that.
a break.
That was a break between us, and we were always back together within a month's time. It was still no excuse. A break is not an excuse to go sleep with someone and have a child by someone else at all.
The couple shares their grief over losing one twin, Heather. Mr. Thomas says his way of coping was different, and Ms. Zachary says it made her feel he doubted the babies were his. The heartbreak only adds to the tension.
We had twins. Hannah is a twin. It was Hannah and Heather. Heather was the big one. She ended up passing away a month after she was born.
I'm sorry.
Right, what did you put me through the whole time? Was you supportive on that?
We grieved in 2 different ways. Oh my God, I don't want to leave the house. I'm stressed. Like, she was looking at me like I didn't have any type of sympathy about what was going on.
Ms. Zachary kept seeing the other man after Hannah was born. Confirmed by Mr. Thomas's stepdaughter, she saw another man around their home, even in their bed. Things keep unraveling as more secrets emerge.
She was still sleeping with this man after Hannah was born.
That's how it was, because we decided that we wasn't going to be together. We've been on and off for 5 years.
The guy that's Hannah's dad, he just slept with her 2 weeks ago.
Really,
We were on a break for a month. She just slept with him 2 weeks ago in my bed. She didn't go to his house. She didn't go to a hotel. It was the bed that we shared.
Mr. Hill, Mr. Thomas's uncle, says Ms. Zachary showed him pictures of another possible dad. He claims she seemed unsure who the father was. This adds more weight to Mr. Thomas's demand for a DNA test.
I don't think that he is the father of Hannah.
You don't?
The reason why is because she just don't look like him. And another reason, one time me and, Rakaya was hanging out in the house. They had got into it. He had left to get some air. She had actually showed me pictures of who she really thought was the baby's dad.
Judge Lake decides a DNA test is necessary after hearing all the chaos. Both Mr. Thomas and Ms. Zachary agree, clearly anxious about what's coming. The courtroom clears with everyone anticipating the results.
Anything you'd like to say, Ms. Zachary?
I just want to say I made mistakes. I never meant to hurt anybody. I'm nervous. I'm scared. I just want him to be her dad. That's it.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Thomas, you are her father.
This case starts wild. Ms. Jones wants Mr. Houston to pay for their baby, but Mr. Houston and his mom say this is all about jealousy. Buckle up, this is just the start of the drama.
Ms. Jones, you and your mother say you are tired of the defendant's denial. He's the biological father of your 6-month-old son, and once the DNA results prove your claim, you demand to be reimbursed for Baby Lyric's child care expenses.
Ms. Jones dumped Mr. Houston before prom, calling him immature, while he accuses her of cheating. His mom even brings up some suspicious texts, but Ms. Jones denies everything. Drama keeps piling up as they discuss the pregnancy.
Well, Your Honor, he was so immature that I had to break it off with him a week before prom. He let everybody in his ear. He doesn't have a brain for himself.
Were you boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yes, we were boyfriend and girlfriend.
In high school?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Houston, do you think for yourself?
No.
You don't? Who thinks for you?
Yes, you do, honey.
Ms. Jones waited until she was 8 months pregnant to tell Mr. Houston, avoiding his family's drama. Mr. Houston's mom thinks it's just to cause problems for him and his new girlfriend. More bombshells are coming.
I found out June 3rd that I was pregnant. And then, once I scheduled the date for my actual appointment to see how far along I was a whole month pregnant because of all the drama that I went through with being with him. And so I knew that they were probably going to deny my baby. I told him when I was 8 months because I had to.
Told him when you were 8 months?
Yes.
Mom.
Mr. Houston's girlfriend and mom claim Ms. Jones mentioned other possible dads. Ms. Jones denies it, insisting she was only with Mr. Houston. His mom adds stories about shady phone calls, and tensions rise.
He seen Nigel come in and he said, is this the dude that dated Nakisha? And I said, yeah, that's him. And he was like, the dude told me, and that's over there, Stock told him that he was the father of her child.
How was I even supposed to cheat or anything when I was with him the whole time?
No,
when
you
did I
were
ever
not.
have time to
No,
cheat?
you were not.
I was working the whole time.
She was
I
back.
at the house. So when did I ever have time to cheat?
The judge steps in, scolding Mr. Houston for being jobless and his mom for not teaching him responsibility. She delivers the truth. If you're making babies, get a job. The courtroom applauds, gearing up for the DNA reveal.
How in the world do you think you making babies in this world and don't have a job? Who's supposed to take care of them? Me? How do you think you cannot have a job?
What?
How do you, what?
I couldn't hear you.
It's called excuse me, ma'am. See, we're gonna get it right in here today. I don't know who's teaching you, but I'm gonna give you a lesson.
I'm teaching them.
When I say something, answer's not what.
Okay.
You didn't teach them correctly. Mr. Houston, you are the father.
Boom!
Miss Jones?
Mr. Reed says it's impossible he's Lucas's dad, and the judge kicks off Whittier v. Reed. He doubts he's the father due to medical reasons, while Ms. Whittier just wants them to stop fighting. This case is about to get messy, so buckle up.
Ms. Whittier, you say that you are sure Mr. Reed is the father of your 22-month-old son, Lucas, but the defendant's paternity doubts have led to constant fighting and tension in your relationship. You desperately hope to prove he is the father to save your family.
One bad argument turned everything upside down. Ms. Whittier blurted out, "How do you even know he's yours?" Oops, big mistake, because Mr. Reed started doubting everything. Things are already awkward, and it's about to get worse when the exes show up.
Shortly before Lucas's birth, we had an argument. That argument led to the ultimate gonna shut him up kind of moment. So I said, well, how do you know if it's even yours?
You say that in the argument?
Yes. I never doubted it was his, but I just kind of wanted to end the argument and let it be done. And I've regretted that statement ever since I made it.
Their love story starts like a failed movie rescue. Mr. Reed thought Ms. Whittier's kid was drowning, but she was just swimming. Heroic fail led to dinner, sparks flying, and romance. It was all great until exes and arguments crashed the party.
Tried to save my toddler that he thought was drowning. He didn't realize she could swim.
Oh, that's cute.
It was a baby, and she was adorable, cute little stubby thing running around the pool in a little swimmer diaper. Jumps in the pool, so I'm laying in the lawn chair, getting my tan on. Now here she goes. I look up, she jumps in the pool, and I'm right behind her, and I come up looking for her, swimming around.
Enter the exes, and it turns into a full-on soap opera. Mr. Reed's ex whispers, "What if Lucas isn't yours?" While Ms. Whittier's ex sends a not-so-great video. Trust issues everywhere.
When did the plot twist come?
With his ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
The conflict started between me and her. Well, then she starts whispering in his ear, oh, well, what if it's not yours? There was some argument. An ex of mine decided to be disgusting, send a very vulgar message to my phone. He found it and thought that maybe there was some continuing relationship there.
Ms. Whittier faced a scary blood clot during pregnancy and called Mr. Reed for support. Despite his doubts, he came to be by her side, proving he still cared. They survived this, but bigger challenges awaited after Lucas was born.
Until I got sick. I had a blood clot, and they put me in the hospital, put me on blood thinners, and they said the blood thinners carry a massive risk, neither one of you making it through. And I called him and I said, you need to come home.
I'd never been so scared in my life.
And I told him that I didn't know if Lucas was gonna make it.
All I could do not to cry too, but I knew as a man that I needed to be strong.
Baby Lucas started having seizures and was diagnosed with Alzheimer's albinism, leaving his parents in shock. Mr. Reed, proud of his healthy genes, couldn't understand it, fueling more doubts. The court brought in an expert to explain this condition.
On its surface, when they first told me, I laughed because I didn't realize how serious it was. We all hear the word albino. Nobody actually thinks about what it means. And suddenly you realize it doesn't just mean that he's pale and blonde and blue-eyed. It means that his skin can't take sunlight.
The only huge doubt I had is the albinism. That was a physical proof.
The genetics expert explained that albinism comes from recessive genes, which can happen even if neither parent shows it. Science is weird like that. It helped clear things up, but Mr. Reed still needed solid proof.
Albinism is passed genetically from the parents to the child, but depending on which gene is affected, depends on whether both parents or one parent passes it.
Oh.
Normally, albinism trait or recessive, and when it meets a copy of itself, meaning both parents having the albinism, the same gene affected, then it becomes dominant.
The DNA results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Reed, you are the father.